Praise the Lord. This is for you.
For me.
Yes. The address was sticking up, so I just fixed it.
Oh, this is gold.
Yeah, it's been here for, you haven't been here for almost a month.
Yeah. But I mean, shouldn't be coming here anymore.
No, that was from the old house.
No.
Recording now? Yeah, it was from the old house.
Fuck. As long as the important stuff is good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I have everything changed over now. But I haven't been there in like a week, so I gotta go back there and check eventually. I can close that door before somebody arrives. It'll be sometime soon. Hello everyone, we're back.
Yeah.
It's been what, I think 3 weeks or 2 weeks Thursday, 3 weeks Thursday. This was the last time. Patrick, you went to Austin, Texas.
Yep. Not the whole time.
No, but how was that?
It was
the
fun.
last thing we talked about. Was you going to Austin?
It wasn't bad. It wasn't. I mean, it's not in my top 5 favorite cities, but
No, it's not.
it was okay. I had a good time. I mean, mostly the food was really good.
Right. Austin's not a... People think Austin's a tourist city, but there's not a lot to do there other than
They're
eat.
trying to be, but
It's not like...
it is still like the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it's not like Orlando or like...
Right.
There's not a bunch of museums like New York City or anything.
Right.
It's just like...
I mean, they're trying to like add stuff, and they've made it better over the years, but it's still like...
But even compared to like Dallas or
such
Houston,
an isolated, like, yeah, exactly, right.
Yeah, you're right.
But I mean, I didn't really go I mostly went there for the comedy stuff, so I mean, that was like the fun part. That most of that was like nightlife stuff. Their nightlife scene was great. I mean,
Yeah.
I had a fun time.
Is it 36th Street? Is
dancing
this
and
big street down there?
I think I don't know the exact street name.
That's where all of the bars like converge into the alley and everything.
Oh yeah, we were on some main spot where most of the clubs and bars and comedy stuff was. I don't know the name of it though. I was kind of just floating irresponsibly.
Yeah.
For the week. I wasn't in charge of anything, so I just kind of showed up and
followed
the wind until I had to leave again.
Yeah. I assume you went to Mothership one of the nights.
Yeah, that was on the main strip, so we walked by that a few times, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the comedy place to see, right? Is the Mothership. I mean, they have a bunch of other stuff too.
Yeah,
but
and I mean, that was cool. It was cool to see. It was fun to check out. You know, good to see live.
Hell yeah. Well, that's the other thing is Austin. Rooster Teeth's from Austin.
Yeah.
I mean, they're back now, but their studio... They have one studio that was like on the edge of Austin, but their main studio is pretty close to the edge of Austin too. But I don't think it's marked or anything. There's just like these giant aircraft carrier hangars. Or aircraft carrier hangars. Aircraft hangars. There's like 8 of them all in a lot out there.
Oh, that's cool.
And they're all like studios and stuff like that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Austin's nice. It's just such a weird spot for so many people to start congregating to.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, fuck the coast.
It's definitely strange. But, I mean, overall, I had a good time. It wasn't a bad time. It was very inexpensive.
Yeah.
So that's good.
It's a good vacation spot. Just for
easy to buy a bunch of food for the cheap, and it was still good. You know?
Right. Yeah, that's what... Because you could go way overboard there on food. Because, I mean, they do
yeah. They still have their spots that are, like,
they have,
pricey, but they have so many that aren't, that
Right.
it wasn't even like, and I didn't. It wasn't like I was going to like fast food. It was still like legit restaurants and stuff, like
Yeah.
barbecue joints and things like that were just like no big deal.
Yeah, there's definitely a couple that I've wanted to go to while the next time I'm out there. But there's like people. I don't know what it is with Texas, but Austin specifically is like really big in a line culture. And how good is your line when you're standing outside waiting for barbecue and stuff like that?
Oh.
And there's like places in the summer where you're standing out there for like 3 hours for barbecue. In the
Oh
morning.
yeah, we went to a
It's
place
like
like that.
fucked.
That was like it was all a line. Like the moment you walk in, you're like in a line with a menu. Like they even like you take a drink order first, so you can have a drink while you're standing in line.
Right.
To like pick your food out, and then even the food is like a buffet line type thing.
Yeah.
It was all a line.
Yeah, that's all of Austin's like that. Like
But
it's so strange.
I
but-
liked how they did it there though. It was very efficient. Like
Yeah.
by the time you got to your food, you knew what you wanted, and then you ordered it, and there was no like. It was good.
Yeah.
It was so busy though. You had to like find your own seats, which was
Right.
kind of tough. But
a lot of those places specifically are like once they run out of food, they just run out of food for the day.
that's the other thing too. Yeah, they're just like they were constantly crossing things off
Yeah.
or whatever. And the place we went to, they have like 24-hour smokers. Just they're constantly making
That's sick.
stuff or whatever. So
Yeah, that's sick. That's the way
yeah,
to do
it was
for
great.
sure.
It was so good, so good.
Some of those places open at like 6 a.m. too. It's like really crazy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The people get in line like 5, 6 in the morning for like, and they won't even open that early. They'll open at like 10. And people will be
Right.
getting in line that early just because it's such like limited supply type.
Yeah.
They'll open at 10 and be out by 12, like that kind of stuff. It's crazy.
It's too much.
yeah,
But it's good.
Man, now I want I might get barbecue tonight now.
Yeah. I mean, I might have time to eat. Lately, I've been waking up so late. I haven't been able to eat before work. But it's only 2 o'clock. My body's gonna be like, you are fucked up. I've been waking up. I've been going to bed at like 1 and waking up at 7 lately, which has just completely shifted everything in my schedule.
Yeah.
For no reason. I don't know why I started doing it. I was going to bed at 8 and waking up at like 2.
All right.
And all of a sudden, I just... Yeah. But fuck, what else? Oh, you started school. That was a big thing over the last couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, I did that too.
What are you going to school for? We didn't talk about that at all. You kind of just like started. And then you're like, oh, I have things to do now.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of how I do things. I just do them. I don't really
So
tell anyone else.
what's your major? Or...
I'm just getting like a bachelor's for like business stuff.
Oh, okay.
Just to kind of get my foot in the door.
So you're doing general studies for 2 years of going for? Or are you doing an online school with a curriculum?
Right now it's just online
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
When I went to Full Sail and I did their online courses, it was segmented into months.
Yeah.
Where every month was a different part of the curriculum and kind of just like built off each other.
I have like 3. I'm doing like 3 classes now. I do 3 classes a week, and then I do like 2 more.
Yeah.
2 or 3 more next semester.
God.
So like every week I have like 3 quizzes and then 6 like mini essays I have to write or whatever.
Right.
Or whatever. But it's no big deal. Like a lot of the stuff is in the material they give you, and
Right. Yeah, being in Full Sail, like online school, I liked a lot more it being on your own schedule. I feel like there was some classes where they cared about us being there during the class, but because it was online, like a lot of it was just recorded anyways.
yeah, they encourage you to like go to the live classes or whatever, but most of them are just they're during my comedy time.
Right.
So it's like they record everything, and The only requirement is to answer the two. There's two essay questions that they say during the live course, and that's the only way to get them. So if you don't make it to the thing, you just watch the recorded, and then you can still answer the questions. And answering the questions counts as attendance. So you never actually have to go to the live. They just want you to go to the live so you can, participate and ask questions and blah, blah, blah. But, I'm not that kind of person.
Right.
I'd rather just read the stuff, answer the questions, get a high five, and, get it done. I don't need to ask people extra stuff.
Yeah.
I can read the book. So I'm just trying to do it that way. I have a student advisor though who keeps messaging me and it's like, hey, make sure you go to your class.
Really?
No.
That's weird. I mean, I guess that's
good. I mean, that's short. They do it a lot more professionally, but they're they're very on top of things. I'm hoping that once they see that I can take care of it myself, they're like, all right, he's got it.
Yeah.
Because I haven't even asked him any questions. I'm just it's literally all been laid out in front of me. And then even all the courses and stuff, they give you a book and a PowerPoint and a video and then a practice quiz. And it's on just one chapter, on just a chapter. It's
yeah.
I don't need, if I do, thanks. But for now, I'm sure there are people that make it more complicated than
this. Oh yeah, I'm sure most people do need that much being in their head.
Yeah, I don't know. But other than that, it's just school. I don't think anything of it really. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just something, because comedy's going great, but I just kind of feel like I need a backup. But it would also be nice to get a better job that isn't as strenuous, maybe a more business related job, something, since I'm already writing all the time anyways, a job that isn't running around all the time,
right?
Just so I can ease my mind a little more.
For sure.
But just in case, if comedy doesn't go as crazy as projected,
right?
Just when things start going good and then my tongue gets cut out or something, and there goes all my aspirations.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, hey.
It's good to have a backup plan.
None of this ever works. At least we did it,
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel. It's the same thing with the podcast or anything else. It's we keep doing it until we're dead. If it catches on,
Yeah, I'm all about the journey, really.
Yeah. I mean...
I'm more about the journey than the destination.
Right, because, it's all fun anyways.
Exactly.
Might as well have fun instead of being bored and
right. And honestly, schools so far, it's been really nice too. On top of, because it encourages me to get out of bed immediately.
Yeah.
Because before I was okay, well, I still was doing comedy and stuff, but that doesn't take all day. And I can do it in chunks, and a lot of it's thinking and then putting my thoughts on papers, and I can do that while I'm doing other things.
And a lot of it's in the moment.
And a lot of it, right, exactly. So it's sure, I'll force myself to write for a certain amount of time every day, especially if I'm going to a mic or something, or a show, but that still wasn't a set schedule. But now, it's only week 2, but already I'm, I immediately get up, I go get breakfast, and start my courses. And today I finished them pretty much right when you said you woke up, right at 1:30. And that was with, since this is a video game podcast, that was with sneaking in rounds of Balatro.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because I downloaded it on the Xbox.
Fuck yeah. Dude.
Not my Xbox. I downloaded it on Kenny's Xbox because mine's in the other room.
Nice.
And it doesn't have a comfy couch. So... But that's fine because I'm still using my account, so it's all in the cloud.
Right.
But yeah, so
it's on Game Pass now too, right?
Exactly. Well, that's what I did. I just downloaded it right from Game Pass.
Nice.
And so in between sections of a chapter of taking notes, I'll play around with that.
Right.
Which has been the only way I've been able to get any video game time in, because on top of school, comedy's become a lot busier. I have shows every weekend.
Yeah, you've been doing.
Which means just more mic time as well, and then I've been volunteering to like write with more people and like help them with stuff. I'm doing like a roast class course thing next week.
Yeah. Oh.
Like,
I made a weird face because the sneeze was coming.
yeah, it was that was a big one. That's hot.
Yeah, it was deep.
I felt that one. So yeah, so like a lot has just been like kind of
Kind of all scrunched
Katamari
together.
balling into one thing,
for
if you
sure.
will, but manageable, but just
It's just a lot, especially right
it's
away too.
figuring it out. Yeah, so
Shoving yourself into that schedule. I mean, that was the same thing when I started YouTube kind of in Tennessee, and I was still figuring out community college. But I started online school, and then I think I got my camera and my laptop 2 weeks or so into it.
yeah,
No, 2 months into it, because it was like you had to get like your beginning course for the month, like you're meeting your professors and getting used to the program, and then
yeah.
I think the second month was like basic, like learning how to do paperwork and stuff like that, to like release forms and stuff. But eventually you spend, at my school, we spent a lot of money on production equipment and stuff, so
yeah,
eventually you get all that stuff, and yeah, that I pretty much started YouTube as soon as I got this stuff. If I can remember correctly, I think I was in Virginia. We had just moved to Virginia pretty much as soon as I started YouTube and got this stuff, which was a huge pain in the ass because I was moving from Tennessee at the time, and I was waiting on the camera and my laptop and stuff like that. And I got my laptop within the first week, so I guess the camera we were waiting for, and that took, a couple months. And then it was like, I don't know if it's gonna arrive at the right house or if I'm gonna be there, so I gotta like make sure that it's gonna go to the right spot.
yeah,
But anyways, it was pretty much I hit the ground running with YouTube, and I was getting used to, at that time I was doing daily videos and stuff like that, on top of school and work. I guess I worked full-time. I wasn't working 40 hours. I was doing like 32 or whatever there. But yeah, it was a lot.
yeah,
I understand. Especially just throwing yourself into it, starting it, like,
yeah,
I was just started doing daily videos. I just started school for the first time, and I mean, I graduated high school in 2011, and I didn't start college back up until 2017, I think. Because in 2016 I think I went to a week of actual community college, and I was like, nah, this ain't it. This is just high school, and I left high school at a very young age. I graduated from night school. Like,
Right.
I'm not going back to a classroom full of people like this.
right,
Especially with people, like, I didn't go to high school with any of those people, but all those people were basically fresh out of high school.
yeah,
And it just felt like I was, the teachers treated you like you're 18 rather than, I think, I was 24 or whatever at the time, or
Right,
whatever.
right.
I wasn't much older, but
there's still a difference.
yeah, at that point graduating high school when you're 16 feels a lot different, you know? Like, you kind of, it's not even like growing up fast kind of thing, because like I didn't have to like start paying rent or anything like that. Like, I
Right.
started working full time and stuff as soon as I got out, but like, yeah, it was definitely a lot of a different feeling, which I think online school is definitely a better case for that. Like,
Yeah,
I
I did
love
not
online
want to
school.
go back to a bunch of people.
yeah,
I was like, any way I can do it where I can literally just do it. That's why I just done like the live classes. Even though really you don't even have to show your face. I mean, you're not even supposed to really. You can just show up, stay muted,
Yeah, don't.
and be there. But just even that,
Yeah,
I'm good.
I think I went.
I don't even want to risk that chance of being called on or nothing. I don't want to. I want to focus on my own time.
Well, a lot of the time they have like the hand raising thing.
They do,
So,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
if you're not muted and stuff like that, you can just.
It's
have
not
it
like
play
it's
in the
inconvenient. It's just like the times are just none of them are at the same time. So like
No.
tonight or like one of them's on Monday and I work a double, so I will never make that one.
Right.
And then the other two are Wednesday and Thursday, and they're both at night. Like
Yeah.
either I'm either on my way to something or I'm like eating dinner, or
Right.
it's like late, like 9 to 10 or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to focus at 9 at night.
Right. Yeah. You work so early in the morning.
And that's the other thing too. I work early in the morning, and then on top of that, we lost like a couple people, and we haven't picked up any new people. So instead of picking up new people, everyone's just picked up more hours.
No.
So now I'm like working a whole nother shift of. It's just become a mess. It's fine. But
Yeah.
it's just
That's just a lot.
everything at once. Fortunately, like I said, it's kind of created a more forced schedule, which I enjoy.
Yeah.
It keeps me a little more on top of things.
Well, do you want to make Tuesdays our
Right.
normal days for podcasts instead of Sundays? Because I mean, Tuesdays used to be our normal days.
I mean, Tuesdays are fine for now. I'm probably
to Thursdays and then Sundays.
yeah.
and
I
then-
think we just switched because I was doing that improv thing too,
right.
which is another thing that is kind of up in the air as well because I don't even know about that. A lot of people
Yeah.
have kind of dropped out of that. So
You seemed. I mean, you liked it, but you seemed kind of iffy about it when you started it, anyways. You remember?
yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like another thing to keep me, the creative juices
Right.
flowing.
And it puts you in front of people that are your peers.
Right, yeah.
In a different setting,
Exactly.
especially.
Yeah, and it's just good practice. I am looking into joining like an actual troupe of some sort
Oh, dude,
that
if
actually
you do, let me know.
does stuff because
Because I want to do too. If I can get there at time.
I think the closest one might be Hartford, and that's my only issue.
There's not one in New London? Damn.
No, I doubt it. I don't think New London's that cool.
Well, New London's trying to be cooler now. Like, they
I
have
mean,
like
maybe
that art stretch that they do everyone, especially during the summertime. Like, they
Yeah,
do a
but
lot
it's
more
not
artsy
like
things, but it's you're right.
entertainers. It's like art, like it's either
Painters.
singing or painting
Yeah.
or poetry or
boring art.
music. No, I mean that's all great, but it's just like that collectively. There's no like gestures. There's no like
Right.
jokey people or
Right.
whatever.
It's all cocktails and tattoos down there and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, it's all like seducing. It's not like funny stuff.
Yeah, so maybe you're right, Hartford.
I think Hartford, maybe Worcester, but I doubt it.
Worcester.
I know Worcester's clown scene has recently gotten really big.
Yeah.
That's a different thing.
Yeah, I want to be a good clown. I'm not good with physical comedy. I'm good with like
But-
my mind and like
As far as
saying
improv,
yes.
Providence maybe might be another option, but I don't really.
I don't go out
I
there
think I
much.
prefer Hartford
I haven't gone to We used to go to
or New Haven.
raves twice a week in Providence, and I haven't
Yeah.
gone to Providence in a long time.
I don't
besides
think
the
I've been to
airport.
Providence that late since then.
Yeah.
I think I usually try to leave Providence before the clubs open now. Like I'm like,
Right, because it's
I don't want to
just
run
so
into
bad.
a younger me. Yeah.
Yeah, parking on the side of the road and then
Jesus Louise. Parking in like bank parking lots and just hoping.
yeah, dude,
Yeah, no thanks.
it's crazy. But yeah, I agree. If you do find something, I want to try
Yeah,
to
that'd be
join.
cool.
It sucks working third shift because everything cool like that is open during the nighttime,
Yeah.
and I can't do any of that. Or I mean, like I can't really do anything during the mid afternoon too because like everything that is starting in the mid afternoon gets out at the time I'm usually going into work. So that's always
Right.
hard.
That is the tricky.
It's like fuck. I
part
gotta
of it.
leave early. So if I can get, I mean, right now I have Thursdays and Sundays off, but I can change a day if I need to at some point eventually.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm always looking for another job too, but, you know, it's not the convenient thing right now is to find another job, so I've just been
right.
steady with what I have.
No, for sure. Yeah, you don't want to keep flopping around if you don't have to.
Right, but if I can find something that pays more and has a better schedule, I definitely would take that.
For sure.
Yeah, but it is what it is. I mean, I don't think there's anything else really over the last 3 weeks. I haven't really been doing anything.
Yeah, that's about it for me. I mean, just a bunch of comedy and then school and work and Texas. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, I've been working and stuff like that. And then, I mean, there was a few videos that came out. 2 of them went on our channel. Yeah. I did the reaction video to the PlayStation event.
Yeah.
I did a reaction video to the Pokemon Presents event for Pokemon Day.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did a reaction video to the Tony Hawk's 3+4 reveal.
Oh, yeah.
All 3 of those are on my personal channel and the Praise the Run channel, more importantly.
Yeah, but I'm sure you've already watched them.
Yeah, actually, those videos have done pretty well. I mean, 2 of the 2 latter reaction videos are about on par to what our normal podcasts are, but the PlayStation 1's almost at 500 views.
Wow. Maybe that's the solution. You just gotta cover my face now.
Well, I mean, the reaction videos are
like
just
Mike
whatever.
Wazowski.
I always try to figure what it is, and I mean, with one of those things, it's hard, because it's like, well, people are obviously interested in the podcast when they do listen to it, and we are getting more support, and people are subscribing and stuff like that, more eyes and stuff. Even if people don't subscribe, our view times are pretty high up. But, you know, like, it's you never know what's going to be the thing to blow up, and you don't know why.
Yeah.
Like, I always try to keep track of what the keyword is.
We gotta start using sillier words. That's what the people want.
Yeah, with PlayStation, I thought it was, it's Liza P.
Liza P. Oh, yeah, of course. Liza P's.
And that's probably the big thing I want to talk about from that.
Yeah, that looked really nice. I watched the theatrical trailer.
Yes. Yeah, so Liza P.
That's exciting.
Is getting its DLC this summer. It is officially announced. It's called Overture. So there's a few things I do want to talk about this DLC that seem kind of like up in the air of what this is.
Yeah.
This is a prequel. This isn't a sequel DLC, so the spoilers that we talked about, I think in the last episode, about the end of the game, I don't know if they're even going to be mentioned in this DLC.
This will probably
because this is all before that.
This will probably put you into the beginning of the game.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
exactly.
ending of this will be like how you ended up in that train car.
In that train,
right?
Yeah, but
that's cool.
Yeah, what I've always wondered is like the train car had weapons and stuff like that, but it never implied that he was like some kind of like fucking beastly killer beforehand.
Yeah.
It seemed like he was kind of thrown into the situation of being a beastly killer, but this being a prequel means he's kind of just like...
He's already been OP with that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So it is strange, but the way that they're talking about this is that they're also going to be doing a director's cut of the main game. And it's gonna like weave the DLC throughout the main game as well.
Okay.
I don't know if that was a translation thing of like how he was talking about it and then just like translate to English and made it worded that way, but the word he used was director's cut.
Yeah.
Or the verbiage. that he used. I mean, there's some cool things in here. It seems like it's going to focus on the angels and stuff like that, which we didn't really have a big...
But we endured.
There was only a couple of angels throughout the whole game.
Yeah.
And a lot of the angels were dead
Perhaps
in the
someday,
game.
if we can cross the
I had
lines of
assumed
time.
that whatever Liza
We'll meet
P2 would be. I assume that's Dorothy. That's my big thing. It's like, I don't think that's just like some random woman character, you know?
Yeah. No, I'm sure it's definitely another character that ties into this universe, like, you know, just as ambiguous as...
I was gonna say, that doesn't look like P's pants. That's not P's pants. I was like, P doesn't have a butt like that.
No, I think that's like the transition.
Dorothy. Yeah,
right?
that's Dorothy right there, what I assume.
What if it's Little Red Riding Hood?
That would be sick too.
Just because of the red hood. That's literally all I'm going off
You
of.
totally could be right, because that seems to be the overarching kind of thing. We're getting like Lewis Carroll, Brothers Grimm,
Right.
like all of these fairy tale-esque. I mean, technically they're
Listening to this song always reminds me
what's
of
the
you.
word for it? They're public IP, but there's another word for it. But just like how Steamboat Willie
Public
and
domain.
Public domain.
Yeah.
There you go. All of these are public domain IP. Pinocchio, Wizard of Oz, like.
Right. But then you gotta be. Well, what does M stand for?
Do you remember the time we all gathered to play this piece together?
There's so many things. I haven't watched any like theories or anything on it.
I don't know. I don't think.
But the trailer also does this whole like. There's a lot of cuts. You're not sure like
Say
what,
farewell.
who's what's.
And she has red hair. Dorothy has red hair.
Yeah.
And was Lewis Carroll's name Lewis M. Carroll?
I don't know. But they're definitely purposely keeping it covered for some big reveal later.
I know it changed everything.
No, he's just Lewis Carroll. Yeah, there's definitely some big reveal there. And there's like this co-op thing. They didn't mention co-op in the DLC.
Perhaps someday, if we
But
can
if we could
cross
run
the
through
bounds
this
of
whole
time,
game co-op, that might be a lot of
we'll
fun.
meet again.
They are hinting at co-op, but part of me feels like it's
It's a story thing of like they're separated.
like yeah, like maybe like a back and forth thing. Like they're gonna let you still be him, but then they'll let you feel like it is to be her, because then maybe she'll have a game,
Oh yeah, for sure.
and then
I think they'll do that Dorothy reveal at the end of like, this is what that cutscene
Right.
was.
and it's like now you get to have a whole game of this or whatever.
Right. Because Dorothy does have a red hood as well.
Mm-hmm.
That is a big characteristic of her. She has like a red hood
Dorothy.
thing. And they could totally mix Dorothy from Wizard of Oz.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
That's who I've been.
I'm not sure who I was thinking of.
And Lewis Carroll did not write Wizard of Oz. Lewis Carroll wrote Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
Which-
Yeah, I don't know
so-
if they'll be represented by the same authors or not. They might just be taking close resemblance to characters.
Right.
Because I don't even think they ever directly said the word Pinocchio. So
Frank Baum is the name of the Wizard of Oz. Marvelous Land of Oz. I don't know what the M would.
there weren't
stand
any
for.
like Aussie hints though. Like there was no
That's what I
like
was. Yeah, which is like, well, so
because the Oz thing was kind of hinted at the end of
right.
Liza P. And if this is a prequel, then this might be a whole completely different character. And then he's just constantly going through different adventures with different
Right.
You
Well,
know what I mean?
like,
So this is one person, then he does his own thing, and then he ends up with Dorothy at the end of 2 or something. I don't know.
right. And the back to the end of that, where like the end of the first game, when you see the dude on the train car and stuff, his name is also P.
Yeah.
I think his name's like Percival or something like that.
Yeah.
It's another really big character in fairy tale worlds. But he seems to be like a Nick Fury like kind of thing, looking for these hunters. I guess P is a hunter. Like, I assume so, because all the other ones are hunters that you're fighting through.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems like there's like some Avengers getting people together, or like...
Yeah, I mean, they may never do a game where they're all in the same thing.
Yeah.
That might be weird. But,
that would be weird.
But, like, story-wise, yeah, maybe that he's, like, I think one way or the other, these characters are going to end up crossing paths.
Right.
Throughout.
Pinocchio's never had a girlfriend or anything like that.
Right. Yeah, I think it's probably, like, Little Red Riding Hood or the girl with the bears.
Oh, Goldilocks.
Well, but her hair's blonde. But, but like something along those lines.
That could totally be a Goldilocks, though. There are a lot of blonde-headed people with angels and stuff like that.
Right.
And we did see not really a bear angel, but a more...
It was a big old beast, yeah.
Yeah, but he was definitely angel rotted.
I'm just thinking wood, mostly because they focus so much of them fighting in the woods.
Right.
And that's why I was thinking, like, wood.
Hansel
people in
and
the woods,
Gretel.
like Snow White, Hansel and Gretel.
Snow White? Yeah, Snow White's good. I wonder if Snow White has to be public domain. Maybe not the Disney one, but I assume so.
Just things along those lines, like what kind of... Hansel and Gretel, I think, would be a good one, too, though.
Yeah, Hansel and Gretel. You said the Three Little Bears. That was the other thing that I could think of. I mean, you said Red Riding Hood, but the Three Pigs and the Big Bad Wolf, like that kind of thing. We did see another. We did see the other wolf dude, the actual hunter.
Oh right, yeah, that's true.
The one that was dead in the first game. That he's like
The actual one, yeah.
Yeah, the actual dude. So maybe that's your big bad wolf there,
maybe
kind of thing.
Yeah.
I wonder. There's a lot with Liza P and lore that I'm super into, and I can't wait to get into it with you, because we have so much fun talking about it. But that's the big thing. I couldn't think of really. I couldn't remember anything else from it.
Yeah.
I guess I could scrub through real quick while I put on a different trailer. Pokemon, like I said, had their little Pokemon Presents for Pokemon Day. Typically, these are a disappointment. And they're not always the best. They feel like they have to do this because it's Pokemon Day. Yeah. So they always announce something. But this time we have a game that we're actually waiting for. So that's cool. It's kind of cool to see what that game is. If you remember, a year ago, as of the day of this came out, Pokemon announced Legends ZA. So we finally got the big, reveal of what ZA is. Right. But before that, they announced a game called Pokemon Champions. I'm gonna let you don't have nostalgia for a lot of old Pokemon. Yeah. But there's a very specific video game series that I am a fan of. A lot of people are a fan of. I don't have the English version. I do have the Japanese versions. Pokemon Stadium was a series for the N64 where you could fight with Pokemon in gyms, and it was just battling. But the big thing is that you could take your Pokemon from the main game and put them in and battle them on the console and see them in full 3D, which at the time was crazy because Pokemon was a Game Boy game.
Yeah.
And then the cartoons
okay.
2D, of course, too.
Yeah. That is pretty cool.
This is taking that concept and making it actual competitive Pokemon. Where a lot of Pokemon worlds and stuff like that take place in the original, in Scarlet and Violet, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, it makes the main game, like, really sweaty when you get to, like, in-game content and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So what about if we took all those sweaty players and gave them their own thing that has cross-play and stuff like that?
Yeah.
That is confirmed. It will have cross-play between iOS, Android, and Switch, but it will work on those. They didn't announce Switch 2 stuff here, but presumably it will be Switch 2 as well, because that's almost at any point.
Yeah.
This is gonna be the shit, dude.
That looks cool.
Yeah, this is like...
How do you get Pokemon, though?
So I assume that it's going to be a free-to-play thing, so I assume that it's going to have Pokemon, like, challenges and stuff like that you'll be able to, or have like a select roster of starters.
Oh, okay.
And then you can kind of unlock stuff. But the big thing is that you could still play the main game, get your Pokemon, and then transform into this.
And when you say the main game, that's also on that?
Yes, so the main game is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, or Pokemon Red and Blue, those kinds of games, like your actual thing, and this kind of explains it a little bit more. So, Pokemon Home is a cloud bank for Pokemon.
Oh, okay. You can get your Pokemon Go ones.
Right.
Oh, that's really cool.
So you can take Pokemon Go Pokemon and put them into Pokemon Home. They still haven't figured out how to get the Pokemon Go Pokemon into Scarlet and Violet without completely fucking up, like, meta. Yeah. So, you can't do that. But what this says is that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet can go back and forth between Pokemon Home. Oh. Pokemon Go can go into Pokemon Home.
And that's just going to go probably forward with future games, I imagine?
Right.
Okay.
And then both Pokemon Go and Pokemon Scarlet and Violet can go into Champions. So even your Pokemon Go Pokemon, you don't even theoretically have to buy a $70 game when it comes out.
Right.
To get Pokemon. You could play your free Pokemon Go.
Man, if you've been Pokemon going for years now,
right,
you probably have so many good Pokemon.
Right. And that's going to be a big thing with Champions. This will not have every Pokemon right at the start. There are... By the time Champions comes out, we're probably looking at close to like 20... It's probably 1,250 Pokemon, something like that. And 1,250 probably by the time that comes out. If this comes out around Gen 10 time, we're probably looking at that. I think we're just above 1,000 right now.
Wow.
If Gen 10's next year, and this doesn't have a date, so I assume this is probably also next year. It's gonna be close to 1,300 Pokemon.
That is pretty cool.
So I doubt it will have all that. I assume it's gonna be like maybe 400.
Yeah. Right
off the bat, but it'll be like the 400 most popular, like, battling meta Pokemon.
Right, yeah. I'm sure they'll be, like, categorized specifically or whatever.
Yeah, and because you put the highest evolutions of stuff, you have to put the lower evolutions of things. That's just kind of like how you can't just have, like, the Charizard, but you don't have Charmander. Like, you have to have all three be playable.
So you have to start as the lowest one and upgrade them?
No, but if you're... No, you don't. No, so it's not like the card game or anything like that, where like once it's evolved forever. But theoretically, if you're having the whole roster of Pokemon, you wouldn't just have Charizard. I mean, I guess you could.
Right.
And it would be fine. But you're supposed to have all levels of battling in this kind of thing.
Right.
So you would probably want Charizard, Charmeleon, and Charizard to all three be playable if you're putting just Charizard in there.
Yeah.
So that's probably where they have to start working at, just building out the roster of, like, we're going to have these select few, and then their pre-evolutions of, like, we're going to put Raichu in there, so we have to have Pichu and Pikachu. We have Charizard in there, so we have to have Charmeleon and Charmander, Venusaur, Bulbasaur, and Ivysaur.
Right.
That kind of thing. But they could totally just do the big boy evolutions of everything and then just be like, yeah, because everybody's so OP battling, this is only for the sweaty people. That's just not Pokemon's style. Pokemon's Pokemon wants you to be really sweaty, but it doesn't want to tell you to be sweaty.
Right.
It's the same thing with, like, the scalper market and everything like that. It doesn't want to tell you to do these things, but it wants you to do these things because that's just what makes the money.
Interesting.
But Pokemon Champions
Cool.
presumably will be free to play.
Right,
and then it will have, like, some kind of Battle Pass subscription thing. That we don't have a lot to go off of, though, about it, other than what you saw there. And then right after that, they're like, hey, for the first time ever, it's coming to Latin America, day and date. Same thing with the next Legends ZA. But like I said, we got a big look at Pokemon Legends ZA. Pokemon Legends is the spin-off Pokemon series that it's definitely a non-traditional Pokemon. It's kind of hard to explain of, like, have you seen what original Pokemon looks like? Like the original Game Boy games, and like how battles look. So instead of it being like a normal turn-based battle, it's real time.
Okay.
So as it's happening, you're throwing out orders and stuff like that.
Right.
And throwing out Pokeballs rather than it going into like a turn-based screen kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's mostly the appeal of Arceus. It's like a straight-up third-person RPG, and then we'll see a little bit of the combat here. But yeah, you have a full 3D space, and as you position your trainer, your Pokemon positions itself too, and you can kind of like... I mean, you can strategize your attacks like an actual Pokemon battle.
Right.
Rather than just like kind of like, oh, I hope they don't throw out this move
Right,
or whatever.
I hope they don't faint. Yeah.
Yeah, you can like counter moves and everything like that. There will be one part we'll see in a second of a battle where he throws like
Zah.
Yeah.
Pokemon Legends ZA is a new title in
He
the Pokemon
throws
series.
out
The story takes
a
place
move in the
Luminous
middle
City,
of
the
another
largest city
Pokemon
in the
throwing out
Kalos
their
region.
move, and because
Prison
he
Tower
threw out
stands
like
tall
this
at the center of this city as
stealth
beautiful
rock
vistas.
is what it's called. He throws out Stealth Rock and
These
throws
days,
out a whole bunch of
Luminous
like
is
pebbles in
undergoing
the
a
air.
high-tech
It blocks
urban
the other
redevelopment plan to turn it
opponent's
into a
move
city
Oh,
that
cool.
will
in real
hand
time.
Pokemon truly share.
I
After
love
you arrive in Luminous City to
I
see
love
the
the
sights,
the
you'll meet
cities
3
in these
Pokemon,
games.
one of which will become your first partner.
The weird thing is that
Tepig,
Legends
and Totodile.
Arceus, the first one of these,
You'll
is like
choose
a...
one of these Pokemon to
It's an
accompany you on
open
a new
world. It's a
journey
pretty
as you get
barren
to know
open world.
Luminous
It takes
City
place
and its
before
inhabitants.
Pokemon kind of become
Here are some
Pokemon.
of the colorful
Okay.
characters
It's like
you'll
the
encounter.
start of all of it.
When you
Like
arrive
the
in
first time
Luminous, you'll meet a
Pokeballs
new
get
friend
invented
and
and
ally.
stuff like that.
Either
Oh, wow.
Irvine or Tawny.
This one is in the
The
future,
hotel where
and
you'll
it's all
stay is
taking
run
place
by
in one
Daisy.
city,
You'll also
um,
meet his partner, Floette.
which is a big
Luminous
difference
is
from the
Yeah.
first
redevelopment is
one.
being managed by Quasar Tacoa.
But you have like a
You'll
lot
become
of
acquainted with the
specific
company's
shots of
CEO,
like
Jack,
Pokemon
and her
just
secretary,
doing their
Vivi.
thing inside
The
of the
different
city.
people you meet will make your
That's
time
pretty
in
cool.
Lumios all the richer.
Yeah. I do wonder how long it will be or how
To
much
help
juice
people
they'll
and
get
Pokemon
out of
coexist,
just it being
the
a
city has
singular
set up
city.
wild zones.
Yeah.
These areas, located throughout Lumiose,
And also
give wild
how
Pokemon
many
habitats where they can
Pokemon will be
thrive.
here. Because we're not seeing a lot of third
To
evolutions
catch one
of
of these
things
wild
here.
Pokemon,
Yeah.
aim carefully,
We're just
then
seeing
throw a Pokeball.
some basic single
If you're having a hard time
like
catching one,
starting
have
out
one of your
evolutions.
Pokemon
Like
use its
Flaffy
moves to
here is
weaken
a
the
second
target, making it
evolution,
easier to
but
catch.
you know, you're not
This
seeing
game
like
offers a style of
fucking
Pokemon battling not seen in previous
giant ass
titles.
Pokemon walk through the city, right?
Right.
I think
Moves
this is
can
the
have a
move where
longer
you
or
see like
shorter
the stealth
reach,
rock
or
and stuff like
different areas of
that. And you
effect.
see the walk
So
roll
choose
out
your
and
timing
stuff.
and positioning carefully to gain the upper hand.
Yeah, this is stealth rock.
Lead your partner Pokemon through battles and dodge incoming attacks.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Swap Pokemon
And that's
if you
another
need to
thing.
and
So you
find
can
the
like,
right moment to
if
unleash a
somebody
move.
throws out a fire type and you have a water
What's
type
more,
or some, or
certain
if you have a
Pokemon
grass
can go
type and it
beyond
happens to be
evolution
weak, you can
by
change your
undergoing
Pokemon out on the
Mega
fly.
Evolution. When a trainer's
Yeah.
keystone
Mega
resonates with
evolutions
the
are
Mega
back.
Zone held by Pokemon,
Mega
the Pokemon will
evolutions
do
are
more than
basically
just
like
change
a stage above
To
your
unlock a
third
new level of
evolution.
power, turn
That's
the
a
tide of
limited
battle in its
time
favor.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
A couple generations ago, Pokemon started doing
As
like
Lumiose
gimmicks
continues
and
its
stuff like that to
transformation
like
into a
make
city that
more
belongs
battles
to both
interesting.
people and Pokemon,
Who
knows
Mega
what kinds of
Evolutions was like the
encounters
big
and
start of it.
experiences will await you.
The newest Scarlet and Violet, they have the funny
Pokemon
crystal
Legends
hats
ZA.
Right.
that change their type.
Coming
Yeah.
late
Um,
2025.
I like Mega Evolutions more just because if you have a regular ass Charizard but you Mega Evolve it, he turns into a cool black and blue Charizard. Like,
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
yeah, and then it's not permanent either. I mean, neither are the hats, but nobody knows what that last teaser is. We assume it's like a battle tower
Pokemon
thing.
Legends ZA
Um,
is scheduled.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, it is very weird. I had to scroll past it, thinking it was like
System Tower stands tall
something
at the center
else.
of this city with beautiful vistas. These days,
Huh.
Lumiose is
Yeah,
undergoing a
oh,
high-tech urban
but in that
redevelopment
Champions
plan
game we
to turn it
saw,
into a city
for the
that
first
people
time
and
ever, we're
Pokemon
seeing
truly share.
the hat crystal
After you
Pokemon
arrive in
Oh,
Lumiose
yeah.
City
face
to see
Mega
sights,
Evolutions,
you'll meet
and we're gonna
3
have
Pokemon,
both.
one of which will become your
We're
first
gonna
partner.
have multiple
Chikorita,
gimmicks going on for
Teferi,
the
Oh,
first
right.
time in the
and
meta.
Totodile.
Okay.
You'll choose one of these
So that's
Pokemon
super
to
interesting.
accompany
That was
you
like the
on a
last
new
shot
journey
of that
as you get to know
Champions
Lumiose
trailer
City
was like
and
the
its
Mega
inhabitants.
Evolved Charizard versus the
Here are some
the
of the
Crystal
colorful characters you'll
Dodonzo,
encounter.
and they
When you
clash
arrive in Lumiose,
for a
you'll
minute.
meet a new friend and
Um,
ally.
But
Either
Mega
Elaine
Evolutions are
or
coming
Tony.
back because of ZA.
The hotel where you'll be staying
okay,
is
so
run
tall.
by AZ.
Yeah,
You'll also meet his partner.
he's
Floette.
the villain
Lumiose's
of X and Y,
redevelopment is being managed by Quasar
and then
Techno,
something
Inc.
happens
You'll
at the
become
end,
acquainted
and
with the
then
company's
he
CEO,
becomes
Jeff,
a
and
normal
his
person
secretary,
again.
Vinny.
Wow.
But
Really
Different
tall.
people
He's
meet
like
and make your time in Lumiose
2,000
all
years
richer.
old in the Pokemon world. He comes from a time when humans weren't humans
To
and
help
they
people
were
and
giants.
Pokemon coexist,
Or
the city is
giants
set up
used to live
wild
amongst
zones.
humans, I
These
think is the
areas,
lore. He also has a
located
monkey
throughout
tail.
Lumiose, give
Oh,
wild
okay.
Pokemon
Yeah.
habitats
Classic.
where they can thrive.
And then his Floette destroyed the world
To catch
at
one
one
of
point.
these wild
Like
Pokemon,
completely
aim
decimated
carefully.
all of
Then throw a
Pokemon's
Pokeball.
existence.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now he's just like hanging out.
Having
Yeah,
hard
now
time
he owns a
catching,
hotel.
have one of your Pokemon
You know, you gotta retire sometime.
Right.
making it easier to
Yeah,
catch.
I haven't played X and Y in a very long time, but I remember the end of that being like,
This game offers
he's
a
like,
style
oh,
of
I'm
Pokemon
better
battling
now.
not
I'm
seen
gonna
in
go
previous
off and live
titles.
with my Floette. Like nothing ever happened.
Moves can
That's
have a
crazy.
longer or shorter
Yeah,
reach,
the
or
game's so
different
weird.
areas of effect.
And it's
So choose
all
your
of
timing and
Pokemon's weird,
positioning
but
carefully to gain the upper hand.
anytime they start going into like deep story
Lead
stuff,
your
it's
partner
like
Pokemon through battles and
you
dodge
guys are-
incoming attacks.
you guys are lost
Swap
in the
Pokemon
sauce.
if you need to and find the right moment to unleash
Like
your
the end
move.
of Scarlet and Violet is insane,
What's
dude.
more,
The end of
certain
Scarlet and
Pokemon
Violet's
can
like
go
all
beyond
about time
evolution
warping
by
and stuff like
undergoing
that, and
Yeah.
like
Mega
people like fading in and
When a
out of
trainer's keystone
existence
resonates
because
with a
of
megastone held by
messing
the
with
Pokemon,
time and
the
different.
Pokemon will do more than
Really?
Yeah.
Because of a Pokemon? That's crazy.
It's
It'll unlock
insane,
a
and
new
like
level
they
of
bring
power, turning
Pokemon
the
from the
tide of battle
future into
against
the
you.
modern world, and bring Pokemon from the past into the modern world.
how they
and
do
it's,
it.
oh my goodness.
I'll have to watch a lore video one day. I didn't realize there was like
Yeah.
lore.
There's so much lore.
I thought it was just kind of like you show up and hunt some monsters.
No. I mean, there is.
Coming late 2025.
That's kind of like what the first game starts out as, and the second game too. But they start adding little things here and there.
Yeah, give it
And-
some depth.
And the thing that the secret that fans of Pokemon don't talk about is that basically anything can be retconned at any moment. Just because of the way that these are set up is that, I mean, there's like 200 monsters that theoretically didn't exist,
Yeah.
but have existed the whole time.
Right.
And that's kind of like how Pokemon plays it. Like the whole, it's not that in the world there could be millions of Pokemon out there. We just know about 1,200 of them.
Right.
Right now.
Yeah, for sure.
So
That's the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like we're just always discovering.
We're always discovering new Pokemon. We're
Yeah.
not telling you how we're discovering them. I mean, we're telling you how we're discovering them, but we're not telling you why
We
or
just
like.
suddenly roll up and there's,
and there's
200 of these things.
Yeah, we found out that Pikachus can have heart tails now. So
Right.
now all girl Pikachus have heart tails.
Yep.
And they never did before, but that's how we do. How we know now.
It's part of their evolution.
Right. That's,
Who are we to tell them how to evolve?
Right, exactly. And then
Yeah.
that's another thing of like they add new evolutions all the time. Of like, I mean, the most famous one was Gen 2 and 3 with the evolutions. They added new evolutions.
Oh,
but-
where he can like be whatever.
yeah, where it's the evolutions are Eevee specifically, and then Umbreon, Espeon.
Yeah, it's like a
Sylveon,
different element or
all the
whatever.
elements
Yeah,
for
yeah.
'em.
Right.
Umbreon, Espeon, and Sylveon, Dark, Psychic, and Fairy types were all came later.
Yeah.
Same thing with Leafeon, Glaceon. The original were just Eevee, Jolteon, Vaporeon, and Flareon.
Just the 4.
Just the 4. And then, yeah, the rest
But then
came
they
in later
added more
generations.
stuff, and it was like, oh, well, this thing can also do that.
Right, and
Right,
it was
yeah.
because, we found a new rock to give Eevee, and all of a sudden, if you give the rock at nighttime, it turns into a totally
I
different
mean,
one.
that's science.
We knew that the whole time, but we didn't know that the whole time, and that's Pokemon.
Yeah.
But then you have, like, ancient stuff, and then you have, like, the gods and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Where, like, the god Pokemon are where you get, like, super fucked, where... I don't know if do I have any gods near me? I guess Zekrom and Reshiram are technically gods, but Arceus is the big one. Arceus is the god of time and space. Like, he's the literal creator of all Pokemon.
Yeah.
That's what Pokemon sees, is who started the Big Bang as Arceus.
Right.
But then you have, like, Giratina, who's the master... I think he's the master of time and space. He, like, warps things. And, like, all of Pokemon Platinum is all about, like, changing, like, just all of matter into, like, this weird wormhole thing where eventually you're fighting Giratina and, like, it looks like a kaleidoscope
Oh,
and
sick.
stuff. And then you have his underlings, which are Palkia and Dialga, and they're... I think time and space separately.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And then Giratina is the 2. I'm probably totally getting most of this wrong. I'm not Bulbapedia.
Yeah.
I
Rage in the comments.
love Pokemon, but my Bulbapedia is the big, like, Wikipedia for Pokemon lore. I don't read Bulbapedia as often as I probably could. But
Yeah. It seems like there's a lot that you could easily
Right.
mix up anyways.
Well, I mean, yeah, and they gotta give, like, every Pokemon has, like, a little description and stuff like that of, like,
Oh, right.
either of where they're in the world or, like, why they're there. And then you start getting into the legendaries, and then that's where you get into, like, the crazy shit of, like, it's not just, like, a quick sentence, it's, like, paragraphs upon paragraphs.
Right, it's a whole
backstory.
Like history.
Yeah. You have, like, the fairies where, like, Uxie, Azelf, and, Mess Spirit. And then there's Fione and Celebi. All of these, like, separate, like, forest fairy things that are all, like, the god of water, the god of grass, the god of...
That's cool.
Stuff like that. And
Yeah.
they're all, like, little tiny things. A lot of it, you could probably just watch a Pokemon movie, and a lot of the Pokemon movies are decent.
Yeah.
Especially the ones that came out in theaters, like 1, 2, and 3 specifically, are really good.
Okay. I didn't even know there were that many.
There are, I think last time I checked, there are 33 Pokemon movies in total.
Wow. That's crazy. I mean, it makes sense,
Yeah.
but I could name one.
Well, Pokemon the movie was 1999.
Yeah.
That was the one. That's the Mewtwo.
That's the Mewtwo one. That's the only one I really know. I
And-
know that they made another one after that because, of course, they did. But
Right.
I couldn't tell you what happens.
Pokemon 2000 was the one after, and that's the one with the birds. That's Lugia, Articuno.
Lugia
Moltres,
is
and
the
Zapdos.
worst name.
Lugia is. I love Lugia. He's
Lugia. Lugie is in the name.
Yeah. Well, the other one's Ho-Oh with
Okay.
a hyphen in the middle of it.
That's funny.
So you have Ho-Oh, Lugia.
No, I don't know
and
much
then-
about the birds.
And then Articuno, Moltres, and Zapdos, which are
just know the Mewtwo episode because that's the big.
yeah.
Yeah.
It might be retcon now. I believe Ho-Oh was the guardian of rainbows.
That's pretty cool.
He might be just the god of the sky now.
Yeah.
And then you would have Lugia, the god of water, the god of the sea. Lugia is a bird who lives under the water and fucking flies
The
through.
god of phlegm.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean he's probably the one that you've seen the most. He's like the white bird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I have any Lugia stuff around me. No, I don't. It's crazy. Oh, here's Arceus though.
Yeah.
Here's Arceus, the guy.
okay.
The Lugia is the one from Silver, Pokemon Silver, and
Yeah.
that's like the most famous one. That's probably, I would say, Soul Silver is the best game, which they remade later, and because the original was like a black and white Game Boy Advance game, so they remade it on DS later.
Oh,
and
like
it
with
was
color and stuff?
Yeah,
That's sick.
and it's really good.
I love that.
And you can get a pedometer that if you could put your Pokemon eggs from the game into your pedometer.
Oh, wow.
And then you can walk around with your pedometer, and that was like the first time that
That's
I
cool.
remember anything like that.
That's really cool. Wow. And they like
Yeah.
hatch or whatever?
Yeah, and then you can like get, I think it also like can pick up like berries and stuff for the game and
Wow.
stuff like that, so you go back later and then like
Link it back.
you link it up.
That's
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, they tried
Wow.
to do that with Let's Go and Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee
Yeah.
on the Switch. They had a thing called the Pokeball Plus thing, and it's the same concept. You can also put your Pokemon Go eggs into it as well and access an extra incubation.
Yeah.
But I think they fucking Pokemon, of course, like loves promos and stuff like that. So that was the only way you could get Mew in Pokemon Go for a long time, or in Let's Go. The Let's Go game, that was the only way you could get Mew.
Oh, wow.
Is if you bought this $70 controller
Right.
on the side. But that is what that is, of like Let's Go. If I were going to, if you were gonna get in any Pokemon game, of course I would just say play the new ones. but you don't have a Switch.
No.
You do have a lot of emulation softwares.
Yeah.
So if you can emulate Soul Silver or Emerald or any of those, I would just play Soul Silver, or Heart Gold is the other one. Heart Gold, Soul Silver.
I have Kenya Switch.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Maybe I could get something like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you have Kenya Switch and you're willing to play, I would play Scarlet and Violet or Sword and Shield. Both are valid. Both are very good. Scarlet and Violet's, of course, the newest one, so you're gonna have all of the most modern Pokemon in it.
Right.
Along
it's
with
portable.
the old ones. Yeah, and it's portable, so you could play like. You could either spend 17 hours at once because it's totally those kinds of games, or you could treat it as like, I'm just gonna go find a Pokemon in the grass, battle it real quick, and
Yeah.
I mean that's how we did it when we were kids.
Right.
They're Game Boy games.
Yeah,
starting
yeah.
out, so that's. I remember sitting anytime I could find a light where I could throw my Game Boy under before I had my little worm light. Like I would sit, play a couple of matches, and then we'd go off to do whatever. But yeah, those are really fun. Scarlet and Violet has a bunch of DLC too. It has 2 expansions.
Yeah, Kenya might be into it just because she plays Go.
Oh really?
Like when we go places, she'll like pull it out and do the thing. So she might be into it just for the championship thing. I don't know how into Pokemon she is, but like knowing she can put all those Pokemon to do something.
Right.
And then if I tell her that you can also do that with the game, I don't know, she might be interested in it as well.
So if she's into that, Let's Go is the one. Let's Go's weird though. Let's Go is like for 2 different people, and I heard this broken down the other day when I thought it was the best way somebody's broken down. Let's Go is for people that are like 6 years old, starting out like getting into Pokemon or just video games in general.
Yeah.
Because it's a 1-button game, and then if you have the Pokeball controller, you like fake throw it.
Right.
And then it's just like playing Pokemon Go without a swipe.
Yeah.
Basically that is what it is. You don't have to battle to catch your Pokemon. You can battle Pokemon in the game, but it's not how you catch the Pokemon.
Yeah.
You just throw out Pokeballs like you would in Pokemon Go. In the main game, you have to like battle the Pokemon, get it down to like small amount of health, maybe paralyze it, and then throw your Pokeball.
Yeah.
To weaken it. Let's Go is very much a smaller version of that. So it's either for 6-year-olds like starting out, or it's for the 30, 40-year-olds that played Pokemon Go or played Pokemon Red and Blue.
Yeah.
Because Let's Go is also just a complete remake of that original game.
Oh, word. Okay.
It's just takes out all of the fluff and the grinding, and like
Right.
it kind of just leaves you with like some
It's
of
more
the
casual gameplay.
I don't even. There's not a lot of story in Red and Blue, but it might even take out like the majority of that stuff too,
Yeah.
which might suck. I don't know. They might add. I haven't played Let's Go other than like watching people play, just because.
Yeah. What's it on?
It's on Switch as well.
Oh.
It was a very early Switch game, so you might be able to find it used cheap, but it's a Pokemon game. Pokemon.
Right. Yeah. It's still gonna be.
There's a
up
chance
there.
that it's more expensive now. Is what I'm thinking. There's a chance that Pokemon Go, if you can't find it right now, there's a chance where that could be an $80 game.
That's
for
true.
all I
'Cause
know.
it's just rare now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those games are Pokemon games are weird because they sell millions of copies and the market's flooded with them, but somehow like they're fucking so much money, dude. Like a copy of Heart Gold and Soul Silver, those games that we were talking about, are like $160, $150.
That's crazy.
And that's on the lower end of things, of like Black and White 2.
Yeah.
It's the most rare one. I think those are going for like $550 now. Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah. Again, these
Wow.
games sell millions of copies.
Right.
And
That's crazy.
lost to time.
Right.
But like Pokemon Red and Blue carts are still fairly cheap. It's those getting people into Pokemon and like throwing them out, like all of this other stuff, because like the Pokemon community is so deep in its shit.
Yeah.
And so like getting somebody new in and be like, you gotta watch out for this, and then like do that. The Pokemon scene of video games is like playing on the original hardware is great and stuff like that, but there are so many reproduction carts now out there that it's like, unless you're seeing the cart in person, do not buy a cart online.
Right.
Ever.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Repro Pokemon carts are the most common shit. And you can buy them on AliExpress for like $5 or whatever, and then people flip them for $20 or whatever at retro conventions and stuff. And they sell them as repros. They're not trying to fake it.
Right.
But the market's just so flooded with them now.
Yeah.
And then you have a telephone game of people of like, one person bought it on AliExpress, plans on flipping it as a repro, marks it up 300%, like from $5 to $20 or whatever they decide to do. But then down the line, like, one person buys it, gives it to their little brother might trade it to a friend, and now there's a fucking little brother's friend thinks he has the real deal shit of Pokemon Emerald, and that's a $250 game typically, but dude's walking around with a repro and doesn't know about it.
Right.
And, you can usually tell looking at it. They've gotten a lot better of like faking it.
Yeah.
But like the older repros, you used to be able to tell if like the plastic was completely different on the cart.
Yeah.
Like, the original Pokemon carts were like clear in some of them, and like the Pokemon Emerald is like you can't see through it at all.
Oh, yeah.
It was like a translucent green originally. But nowadays they've gotten so much better where like, I don't know, plastics are cheaper now, and
Yeah.
a lot of these parts are a lot cheaper. Like, a lot. Of course, another thing you have to worry about: old Game Boy games have batteries in them too, like launch batteries in them, and they have to be changed every once in a while.
Oh, I had no clue.
Yeah,
Wow.
like years down the line, they'll have to be changed.
That's
So
crazy.
if you have a Game Boy game that's not working, it's possible that it does work still. It just needs its battery changed.
No way.
Same thing with like a lot of the old N64 carts. Not all of them, but most of them. Especially the more demanding games like a Chrono Trigger from back in the day on SNES or whatever would usually have like a watch.
Did they tell you
battery in
that?
them.
When you bought them, did you know? Was that like common knowledge?
Some of them, yeah. The Game Boy games do tell you, but
like you were aware when you were playing a game, like, oh, I might have to switch the battery.
Yes,
In this game. I've never heard of this. Today I learned.
Right,
Like this is crazy to me.
You would have to know your shit to know, like your.
But so they don't tell you on the box that there's a battery in here that you might need to.
No, not in the box. It would be in the manual. It would be like in the warning things of like battery included, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Because like the battery's soldered into it, so like.
Oh, so
when
it's
you change your battery into a Game Boy thing, you have to take a pinpoint solder, unsolder a little part of it, and it's like a clamp on top of the battery.
Oh man!
Take off the clamp.
But what if you can't do that? Then your game's just SOL.
Yeah, but most retro video game stores can do it.
Oh, okay.
And then,
well, I'm talking more like back in the day, like.
Right. Right. Yeah. You would be SOL. I think even back then though, Nintendo probably had a way that you could send in your carts and then do it that way.
Yeah, that's
Nintendo's
crazy.
always been very good about that. So much so that's how the Joy-Cons work now.
Yeah.
Is if you get Joy-Con drift, then you could message Nintendo, send them to them for free,
Oh, cool.
and then they'll send them back.
That's cool.
I don't know if you could just send the Joy-Cons though. There was a while where you had to send in your whole Switch with it.
Oh, wow.
And that was fucked because people were like getting their Switch back and realizing it wasn't their Switch.
Oh,
because
man.
all their save data and all their shit was gone.
On someone else's.
Well, a lot of the time it was like, well, I guess Nintendo is just gonna like gut it for the parts and just send you a new one. It's more easier to just send you a new one than to fix the old one when they could just dismantle the old one, reuse all the parts.
Yeah. That's crazy though, because you have so much, all your memory and everything on there.
Right.
They can't even like transfer that at least. That's nuts.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, they tell you before you send it in now of like, hey, make a backup or whatever. But
Right.
like,
well, I guess now you have the cloud. It's a little more.
yeah, I don't know. I don't
Flexible.
know if Nintendo has a cloud.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yes.
See, I'm so out of the loop with Nintendo. I mean, like, I literally just turn those batteries.
Nintendo might have cloud storage, but I don't know. Like, PlayStation does have cloud storage.
Yeah.
But with Nintendo, I don't know. PlayStation, you have to pay for your cloud storage.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be on their like subscription for it or
Right.
whatever. Same Xbox, I think might be as well.
Yeah, you have a. There's a little bit of a. Well, just Microsoft in general.
Yeah, but for Xbox specifically, like with your Xbox saves and stuff like that, I think that you might not have to for Xbox, but PlayStation for sure. You have for
Is that not? Is that
PlayStation
part of your
Plus.
premium or whatever, or Xbox Plus or whatever?
If
it's
you
called?
have Game Pass, that's what
Game
I'm saying.
Pass,
If
yeah.
you have Game Pass or Gold, I assume that that's part of it, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not completely sure. That might just be free on their part because they
Mm.
have the OneDrive, or that's Google that has, but Microsoft has their version of it too. But Sony, you do have to pay, and it's like the more expensive version of it too.
Oh, really?
It's like, yeah, I think it was like 24 something a month for
Yeesh.
their highest tier. But you know,
Sucks.
the cloud storage thing with Pokemon, I mean, it's irrelevant. With Pokemon, it's fucked because a lot. Nowadays, you have Pokemon Bank and you have Pokemon Home, or Pokemon Bank is what Pokemon Home used to be.
Yeah.
But Pokemon Home, you can transfer all your old Pokemon into Pokemon Home. It takes for fucking ever because you have to do it one by one.
Oh,
It's not just like
that's
a
awful.
mass thing. It's
Right.
like because I mean, you have a limited amount of spots in Pokemon Home too.
Oh, okay.
And unless you want to pay more, you can always just pay more. But you have a limited amount of spots. So and then you transfer one by one, and it's so you don't like. There's a lot of money on the line in Pokemon Worlds,
Yeah.
and you start fucking with the meta and start fucking with like balancing and stuff like that. I mean, it's just that's another thing. It's just really hard to balance all of this too. So like,
Yeah. Yeah.
some Pokemon don't exist in one game versus another. Like, just we're at that point now where it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
as much as I want to complain, like Gen 10 better have everything because we're about that point. But I don't expect it to be right off the bat. I expect it to be over time.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. They'll slowly drop
Um,
a few at a time or whatever.
Right. But back in the day, cloud storage did not exist. And a Game
That's
Boy
true.
cart had like kilobytes worth of memory storage on it. So
Right.
you can only save once per cart. If you wanted to replay Pokemon, you were deleting everything.
Oh yeah. Wow.
It wasn't you would everything.
You didn't have like multiple saves or whatever.
No.
Wow.
And I mean, if you're lucky, you have a Game Boy cable and an extra Game Boy to be like, oh, I want my Charizard in my Pokemon Gold version, so I can replay Red and Blue and
Wow.
with my Blastoise
Yeah.
instead. because there's 3 starters. So if you want all 3 starters,
That's
you have
true,
to
yeah.
play it 3 separate
3
games.
times.
But you can't have each of them at once.
Does that
so you
change
need to
anything
transfer
other
it out.
than
Uh,
the fighting? Does it change like the story at all?
no. The way that the stories vaguely change between the different versions. So you have the same starters in all of them, but usually the legendary is different between each version. So red and blue, or like gold and silver, scarlet and violet, sword and shield. Like all of those are different legendaries.
Yeah.
And usually by the end of it, they you kind of catch it all. But there are specific Pokemon that are only to each version. Usually it's not all of them. It's only like usually 20 of them typically. But the whole thing with Pokemon is that I have red version, you have blue version, so we're gonna trade and stuff like that.
Okay.
Some Pokemon only evolve by trading.
Oh, wow.
Like Gengar, Golem, Electabuzz. They're all of the final evolutions. Like you can't get a Gengar unless you trade your Haunter.
Oh,
It's
interesting.
the only way to get it. Is Alakazam's another one. You can only get an Alakazam if you trade your Kadabra, and that's the only way to get it. You'd have to trade to get a Kadabra, or trade a Kadabra and get it back.
Wow. That's
But
crazy.
That was the only way
What
to
a
do
weird
it.
thing.
Yeah, Pokemon Go does that too.
Yeah.
They have a very different version of it, but they region lock Pokemon. That's the way that they do it there. Where like Mr. Mime, Tauros, Kangaskhan, and the Wormadans, all the different Wormadan variants, and the Vivillon variants too. They're all like scattered across the map.
Word.
Yeah,
But
Kangaskhan's only Australia.
Hmm.
Tauros is only America. Mr. Mime's, I think, Europe.
Yeah. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. That's the if you wanted to catch everything in Pokemon Go, you better know somebody who's very worldly, or be very worldly yourself.
Yeah, for real.
But Pokemon Go, on the other hand, does have everything at this point. Like we're pretty close, if not already there, to like almost 1,200 Pokemon in Pokemon Go.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I haven't played Pokemon Go in a bit, but I assume that they have almost everybody besides like maybe 2 or 3 left in Scarlet and Violet at this point. Like Goldango and Gimmighoul might be weird to like put in Pokemon Go, but eventually they'll do something with it where Gimmighoul is a new Pokemon who is like a mimic demon thing. He sits in a treasure chest and he throws out Gimmighoul gold.
Oh, okay.
But if you steal gold from him, he like curses you.
Oh, wow.
But his evolution is like a giant stack of golden coins called Goldango. And Goldango is the 1,000th Pokemon in the thing. It's the Pokemon made of solid gold.
Of course.
He also surfs on a gold surfboard.
Oh,
stuff
cute.
like that. Yeah. Actually, I sold a Gimmighoul recently. Not to brag about my Pokemon sales, but to show you. That's a Gimmighoul right there.
Oh, wow. He's cute.
Yeah, and then he turns into a hideous. Goldango is hideous. Dude.
Okay, I'm sorry.
He's like the Slim Jim guy, but if he was made out of solid gold as a Pokemon.
Who doesn't love that?
I assume the podcast listeners love hearing me talk about Goldango.
I like how we're searching him.
Look at this Slim Jim looking motherfucker.
Oh no, that is exactly. Wow.
But in Scarlet and Violet, to get a Goldango, you need 999 Gimmighoul coins. And the way to get that is to go out in the world and fight gimme ghouls, and then depending on your gimme ghoul that you fight,
Yeah.
he'll give you either 1 coin or some of them give you 50 coins or whatever
Oh,
like
wow.
that. So you got to go out and find.
So maybe they're gonna
999.
hide these little gimme ghouls all over the world or
Yeah, in
something?
Pokemon Go is what I assume.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, because that's how they did it in Scarlet and Violet. Is
Right.
that they just threw them all over the place. You can look under trash cans, on top of buildings, and
Oh, okay.
kind of thing. But the only way to get a Goldango is if you have 999 of the coins.
It really is the
and
worst
to build it.
evolution.
Yeah, dude. But he's supposed to be like a good luck thing in Japan, I guess. Is kind of the idea. He's a guy made out of solid wealth. But he's Pokemon 1000.
He's apparently OP according to these videos.
Yes, he is fucked up. How insane he is, because I think he's a normal type, a normal steel type or
Probably,
whatever.
that's what he looks like normal.
Yeah, he might just deserve a ban. Does he deserve a ban? Somebody made a real Goldango.
Wow. Super fan.
Yeah. He's so hideous looking, dude.
Yeah, he reminds me of the, not the Slim... I was thinking the, what is this? I was thinking
how
the,
he traverses.
the, gosh darn it, what's... The Applejacks guy. The cinnamon stick?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of.
That's another thing too. I mean, I was trying to be a little less racist because of the dreads, but I thought about like 15 different black dudes with
He
dreads
does have
that
big
weren't the
dreads.
cinnamon stick.
Yeah,
but
no,
the
he
cinnamon
really does
stick is
have the
definitely-
big... They're definitely dreads.
They're definitely dreads. They're definitely.
I mean, they could have done 2 and made it ponytails. They could have done none because it's a stack of coins and doesn't need hair.
right. No, he's definitely dreads.
It's a very strange
But
shape.
same thing with the cinnamon stick is like, why does
But-
the cinnamon stick have dreads
Yeah.
for some reason?
Well, at least the cinnamon stick has a character. It has an accent. It has a story involved.
Yeah, I don't want.
As far as we know, does this Goldango say Goldango in a Jamaican accent? Is it like Goldango? I'm not gonna do it. I shouldn't do it. But you know what I mean? Like, if there's no actual lore tied to it, it is weird.
Right.
It is a weird... 'cause
Yeah.
it's not like every Pokemon has
Oh, he made a noise there. What noise does he make?
hair.
It's because this is short. I guess you can't rewind shorts. You hear it?
Yeah, it sounds creepy.
Yeah. Well, he's a demon.
Okay, well, I mean, I guess if he's a demon, they could have made him more demonic looking and not like just
Right.
happy. That's the other thing too. He's surfing, and that's another thing that
Yeah.
the cinnamon stick guy does.
Right.
So
There's a
yeah,
little coin pouch on him too.
whatever. I guess
It's-
it was definitely
it's
a
like weird
choice.
Pokemon. It's the most choice out
Right.
of all of.
I would have
Scarlet
rather
and
have been
Violet.
like you could have just turned him into a wallet or something,
Right.
or the wallet turns into a giant chest. I feel like you went
That would have been
backwards.
sick.
You went backwards. You went from a chest to just sentient
Yeah, I think
Jamaican gold.
there's some
Oh, that was worse actually.
there's some Japanese demon that lives in a treasure chest like that. And Dark Souls kind of has the mimic thing as well.
Yeah, I feel like it's supposed to be Mimic-esque.
But the Goldango, I don't know what. There's definitely some influence that I don't know there. Maybe
Yeah.
it is just the cinnamon stick from the Applejacks.
We're just a big Applejacks fan. This is how they let us know.
They're super into it. That wasn't the only announcements, though. I'll move on a little bit to honestly, the big one I'm excited for talking about. Tony Hawk's 3
Oh,
plus
yeah.
4 remake has been officially revealed.
That's super cool.
We missed the leak, and did we talk about the leak on the last podcast?
I don't think we talked about the leak. You just sent me a picture of it or something.
Yeah, so that might have happened over the week.
I think it
that
happened
we were
like
missing.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it happened the week of the PlayStation event. But one of the pro skaters went on a podcast. He was like, I had just wrapped up filming not too long ago the new Tony Hawk game. It was crazy. It was a good time. And people were like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? What are you talking about? Are you talking about Tony Hawk's 1+2? Because that was a long time ago.
Right.
And then people were like, no, he can't. Maybe he means Skate, but it would be weird if he was talking about Skate and Tony Hawk. Like,
right.
he was name dropping and stuff. Tony Hawk's 3+4 is a real thing. Finally.
Yeah.
This was kind of not just rumored, but heavily implied when Tony Hawk's 1+2 came out. And then 1+2 ended up being the best-selling Tony Hawk game of all time. But that wasn't enough for Activision and Blizzard, because Activision would end up swallowing Vicarious Visions, who made 1+2 remake, into Blizzard, and that team would end up going on to help with Warcraft 3 and Diablo 2. I think Diablo 2 was actually the one that they helped out the most on. But Vicarious Visions doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
They're now Blizzard Albany. So people were like, well, I guess 3+4 is never coming. Because why? I mean, the best-selling Tony Hawk wasn't enough for them.
Right.
And they swallowed the studio that did it. Vicarious Visions wasn't just some studio that got 1+2 remake as well. Vicarious Visions has been making Tony Hawk games since the beginning.
Yeah.
They weren't the main team, but every single port of Tony Hawk's 3+4 was done by Vicarious Visions, and more importantly, they did the Game Boy versions of all of the Tony Hawk games, which would change from a 3D open world or open zone level based thing to it was a isometric skate game.
Oh wow.
On the Game Boy.
That's
and
cool.
They controlled just like you would any Tony Hawk, but instead of making a 3D thing, it was just all top down.
Yeah.
They worked really well.
Huh.
And they were really good. Tony Hawk's 3 on the game, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 on the Game Boy, I played so much of specifically.
Yeah.
But Vicarious Visions would end up, being swallowed up. People thought Toys for Bob would be the next one up to do it. Toys for Bob was part of the Blizzard deal as well. They actually got away from Xbox at the beginning of the year. We talked about they bought back their independence from Xbox, and they were like, yeah, but we're also working with Xbox on our next game. So Toys for Bob is independent, but they are working on a Microsoft game that's not Tony Hawk's 3+4.
Huh.
Toys for Bob is the Spyro team,
Oh, okay.
the Crash Bandicoot team.
Yeah.
And they did those remakes as well, the Spyro Reignited Trilogy, Crash Nitro Team Racing or whatever, and then the Crash Trilogy, the Insane Collection as well.
Oh, word.
Vicarious Visions helped with one of those or two of those as well. But again, Toys for Bob bought their independent spec. Thankfully, they're not getting swallowed in a Blizzard.
That's good, yeah.
We now know who's making this. So I'm going to play the trailer. We're going to watch the trailer, and then we'll talk about that. Did you see this already?
I did not watch this yet.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Fuck, dude. Oh. looks so fucking good,
Looks
dude.
really
It
nice,
looks
yeah.
so good. I've watched this trailer so many times, and it's just like a From Software trailer. I have chills. Like, this is...
Oh, that's cool that it's comparing the two. Nice.
Yeah.
So you can really see like the difference.
New skate brands, too. You got, like, April and shit in there. I didn't see any dead skate brands, so, which is fine. It would have been cool if they kind of, like, threw in some of the retro stuff.
Yeah.
But that's fine. I don't need it.
Might be unlockable or something.
Yeah, maybe.
But it's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes. So we got that trailer and we got this one real quick.
That's silly. I guess that makes sense.
Crazy.
It's probably going to be a big thing they start doing. Releasing, like, characters with their own.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so.
So that's sick.
Yeah. All in the Foundry level. Makes sense. First, Tony Hawk's 3 level. Alright. So, the reveal there is that Iron Galaxy is the one making this. Iron Galaxy, I have faith in them that they'll make a good game here.
Yeah.
Iron Galaxy has been, I wouldn't say hit or miss. They've hit a lot. It's just whether the games gain enough attention or stuff. Iron Galaxy did the Killer Instinct remake or reboot on the original on the Xbox One for launch. But their most recent game was Rumbleverse, the battle royale wrestling game.
Yeah.
Also, across the last couple weeks, I didn't pull up the article, but before we get into the rest of this, I don't know how much of this next article I will read you and how it will affect this. Iron Galaxy recently had a bunch of layoffs. Iron Galaxy is a very small development team. I think they have 250 in total. Developer Iron Galaxy has eliminated 66 positions across its development and support teams. The studio, which created Rumbleverse and helped develop the recent Last of Us remasters, explains that it's made sacrifices over the years to protect its team from layoff waves. But after this past winter, it's ran out of room. This was a means of last resort for us. It was a measure we do not take lightly and enable our long-term survival. Iron Galaxy is the latest studio we've seen to cut staff. Yeah, there's not really much going into why, but they just had a bunch of layoffs. Presumably it's because they were finally wrapping up on this. But if they plan on supporting it with like DLC and everything like that, I don't know how much people they would need on, but
yeah,
it's crazy because this is going to be like their best selling game ever.
Yeah.
Like,
Definitely.
I what a crazy thing to do is like, I mean, I guess you in between now and when this finally comes out, like, you're still paying salaries and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But fuck, dude, Microsoft, like, you gotta you gotta make sure these people are good. Like,
Yeah.
these people are making one of the biggest franchises in your roster now, and they're laying 66 employees off in the middle of development. That's kind of insane. There's a couple of caveats with this, but before we get into that, what's your... I mean, we've talked about Tony Hawk before, but what's your familiarity with 3 and 4?
I mean, the only game I think I've played from Tony Hawk is American Wasteland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you never played 3 or 4?
I might have, but to be honest, they all probably feel like the same game to me.
They're...
Like, in my head, I could have played all 4. First of all, I didn't know there were 4 Tony Hawk Pro Skaters.
Oh.
And if I've played all 4 of them, in my brain, it's all one game.
Well,
that also includes American Wasteland. Like, I couldn't tell you specifics of any of them.
Yeah.
So
they're all fairly different.
I'm sure they are, but to me, they all kind of mesh together.
Yeah. Tony Hawk's 3 was the first game I had ever bought. So that's a big one for me.
Yeah.
I love 4. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 is a lot different because it's open.
Okay.
1, 2, and 3 are all 2-minute runs in a level. You have a list of goals, and in your 2-minute runs, you just try to...
Right, like you're
get
getting
through
the
your
skate
list.
letters and stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
And Tony Hawk's 4 takes that formula and takes out the 2-minute timer and kind of just spreads those goals all over the level.
Oh, okay.
So you have, like... it's just more free roamy and stuff like that, and then you start a goal, and then it'll bring up a timer to whatever, if your goal needs a timer,
right.
Or if it,
so I might have played that one. That one sounds familiar.
Yeah. So 3 and 4 are fairly different in each other, just from that alone,
okay.
Structure-wise. But mechanics-wise, 1 is just bare bones. 2 adds the manual.
Yeah.
3 adds the revert. 4 adds the spine transfer. So you have, like, big components of, like, your whole combo system all being iterated on.
Right.
With each one. And then Thug is when you can finally get off your skate... Or no, I think you can in 4. You can finally get off your board as well and start doing, like, climbing ladders, or... You can do hand plants and bean plants and cavemans and all that stuff too. I think actually American Wasteland is the first one you do a caveman in. But 3 plus 4 takes all of 1 plus 2 and 3 plus 4 presumably takes all of the mechanics from those other Tony Hawks and puts them back into the originals.
That's cool.
So you can finally play 1 plus 2. 1 plus 2 is just that's an excellent 10 out of 10 game, worth playing. It's fairly short. I think it took 3 episodes to do both games.
Yeah.
3 plus 4 is fairly different from each other just because of the level structure. They have came out with a caveat of 4 of saying it will no longer be open. You not having the nostalgia for 4 is a great thing, because you don't have a horse in that race of, like, you don't remember it when it was open. I don't know if it probably will lose some of its... I wouldn't say it lose its allure, but it will lose something in it being not open anymore.
Yeah.
But basically what they're saying is that they're taking the 4 goals and streamlining them into
putting it back into
2-minute runs, just so it works better with 3. Which is fine. A lot of people are like, this is a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 remake with some 4 levels in it. It's not a full 4 remake.
Yeah.
Sure. I guess.
Maybe they should have gave you both options.
They should have. I get why they didn't, but yeah, there'll still be like a free skate mode and stuff like that where it won't have any goals, and then you could
just free roam the whole thing or
right.
whatever. Yeah, I guess that's cool too, though.
There are some other things though that are fairly different. I love Doomslayer being in here.
Yeah,
I really do. Revenant's new. Doomslayer's not. Doomslayer is from Doniak's Pro Skater 3.
Oh, okay.
You have to pay for it now.
Oh.
Originally, it was a secret character.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's a big.
Well, that's kind of shitty, because.
Yeah.
Well, how'd you obtain them?
Doing goals and stuff like that. A lot of the time, it would be like. I mean, any secret characters in the games were always like, be a certain character in a certain amount of time. Beat the game with all characters.
Right.
Get a character to a certain amount.
And now
of
it's
stats.
just Now it's.
Well,
I wonder if they're gonna have other. In lieu of, if they'll have other.
They did show like a variant of Tony specifically. It was wireframe Tony, which just looked like a low polygon.
Looks like
version.
Tron or some shit. Yeah.
And then the Revenant is new.
But I would assume you'd pay for it.
You pay
as well.
for it.
Yeah.
It comes
it's like
with
a different package.
Both of those come with the deluxe edition, the version, which I think is $80.
Oh wow.
So 3+4 will come out as $50. There is an $80 version with all of the DLC and everything like that.
Yeah.
And there's a $140 version with a skate deck.
Oh.
And it's a remake of the Birdhouse skate deck.
I mean, that's pretty cool, just for the deck.
Yeah, from 2002 or whatever, 2003.
That's worth it just for that alone.
Right.
Because that'll resell.
Probably,
even not the resale. I mean, just to have it
it
would be worth it. But I'm saying like.
Yeah, I'm in the park of like I kind of want to buy a sealed copy of that version and then buy a separate version just to play.
Yeah.
But also I don't want to spend that much money on it just in case if this doesn't go the way that we all want it to.
Oh right, it ends up being a
disaster.
Yeah.
This isn't the first time, of course, like we had 1+2 remake, but this isn't the first time that we've had another studio remaking games. Everybody remembers Robomoto and the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD remake from the 360. It was garbage.
Yeah.
Hot garbage.
No,
like, they changed the way that everything feels in that game.
This could be another Silent Hill.
I think I have faith in Iron Galaxy of like this is what they do. They port things, they remake things. I think they even did the port for 1+2 remake on PC.
Okay. That's promising.
So they know what Tony Hawk feels.
They already have their feet in the water.
Right. So I assume that's why Xbox chose them specifically. But the you always hope for the best and plan for the worst, right? It's like one of those things of like, this is already so good and too good to be true. So like, what's the catch?
What's the catch? Yeah.
I really hope just the Doomslayer and all that stuff being paid DLC now. I hope that's the catch.
That's the top of it. Yeah.
But there's other secret characters in 3. I doubt they're gonna be in here. 3 had Wolverine and Darth Maul in it as well.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I doubt they paid for those relicensings.
And then 4 had Eddie, the zombie from Iron Maiden, in it, along with the Neversoft.
Oh, that's
eyeball,
right. Wow, yeah.
It had I think a porn star as well as in 4 as a secret character as well.
Really?
Yeah,
that's funny.
Like a specifically named porn star.
I remember the Iron Maiden guy though.
Yeah.
I remember seeing images of that.
Yeah, so I wonder. I mean, I doubt they're gonna be in there, but 1+2 did have a couple of the secret characters. It just didn't have all of them.
Yeah. Didn't they eventually add like the Jackass characters to a Tony Hawk?
That's in Underground 2. And that's
okay.
Underground 2 is like the height of all of that stuff. Of like Viva La Bam. And that is very much of Tony Hawk versus Bam Margera.
Right.
And then it's more Jackass.
I remember seeing that
stuff.
like in the magazines and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy's wearing a diaper on a skateboard. That's crazy.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can play as Phil Margera, and he's just like in his tidy whities.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right. Yeah, literally. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
That game has a secret character in every level.
Wow.
And they're not necessarily secrets. They're just they call them. I guess there is a couple of actual secrets in there too, but they're just straight up like play as a side character. And then you gotta go do, like, the first level in Underground 2 is you play Benjamin Franklin, and you're all just skating Philadelphia. And you gotta do goals of Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah, fucking kite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think the other secret character in that is, like, Jesse James, which is some tattoo artist or whatever.
Oh.
But then it's always, like, one main side character of, like, and then, like, some random weird way out there stuff.
Right.
But Tony Hawk's Underground 2 had Shrek in it as well and stuff.
That's
like
great.
that.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot. Which I don't want to pay for it. That's the big thing. It's like this stuff is already.
It's more fun to earn it with challenges,
right?
Especially because it's like, unless it's a multiplayer game, and even then, who cares what I look like while I'm skating around? I'd rather be able to customize it, or if I unlock it, then I feel like I accomplished something.
Right.
I hate buying skins because then I have to look at it all the time and remember that I bought this digital thing.
100%.
Right.
100%.
It's crazy.
It did say we have new skaters.
Yeah.
It said we have new outfits for our skaters too.
Yeah.
But more importantly, we have new levels.
That's what that last thing they showed was?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had assumed it was the Project 8. The end of Project 8. It's like a huge water park, theme park area kind of thing. I assumed that's what this was. Apparently not. Apparently this is just a completely different thing. But it is an abandoned water park.
That's cool.
The level that they showed off. It's not the only new level, but this is the one that they're
definitely a
showing.
Top tier dream skate park, though.
Right. And there's some things of like
one of them's gonna be on the moon.
I think that's the first game.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I could just imagine doing bowls on the moon, like anti-gravity style.
Yeah, the first game. I don't remember if it's on the moon directly or if it's in Roswell. It's the whole Area 51.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. That's funny.
I don't remember where 3 ends. It showed Tokyo. I don't think Tokyo's the end of 3, but it's very close to the end of 3. Fuck, dude, I don't remember what the last level of 3 is. And the last level of 4 is the zoo level, and there's 2 secret levels as well in 4. I don't know what they're going to do about secret levels.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because one of the secret levels is for a completely different game.
Really?
For Matt Hoffman's BMX.
Cool.
Yeah. That's another thing is, like, I love these games, but, like, we got to remake the other ones, too. Like,
that's true, yeah.
Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX 1 and 2, Sean Palmer's Pro Snowboarding, Kelly Slater's Pro Surfing,
snowboarding.
Dude.
Well, I don't know about surfing.
The Sean Palmer snowboarding games, that was another game. It was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and Sean Palmer's Pro Snowboarding were the 2
I had a snowboarding game. I don't think it was a specific one, though. I think it was it wasn't like a name.
It wasn't Sean Palmer?
I don't think so. I did have a snowboarding game, though.
Was it for PlayStation?
And you, like, punch people.
Oh. I think I know what game you're talking about. I think, actually, SSX you can punch people in. So it might not even be that. I think I'm spelling his name wrong. It's not Sean Palmer. Was I spell? Oh, I added a U. Sean Palmer, pro snowboarder. This opening is such a vibe, dude. This is like the most... The most 2001... I think it's Static X playing.
It's got a fucking flame on the side of the car.
Yeah, dude. This shit was so cool in 2001. I had that same fucking beanie too with the flames on it.
Yeah. Jeez. They made snowboarding seem way cooler.
Oh, dude, it was so cool. You could like skate through the ski lifts and stuff and break glass. Like
The snowboarding game I had was really fun. I played it a lot, but it wasn't this one.
yeah,
But it was extreme.
I wonder. Shaun White.
Yeah.
He was like 13 years old in this game.
That's crazy.
Yeah, dude, he is super young. In 2001. Snowboarding games. PS2. There's Evolution Skateboarding or Evolution Snowboarding. That one, you get your baseball bat.
No.
SSX, you can fight people on.
It might have
There's
been
Dark
SSX.
Summit. Dark Summit was another one where it was all violent and stuff like that.
It might have been SSX.
And then Sean Palmer Snowboarding is what
Yeah.
I watched. They were gonna do. I thought they did a sequel, but I guess it never came out.
I was just watching someone play it live not too long ago. Like someone was playing like a nostalgia stream.
Yeah. Sean's... Yeah, it never came out. Sean Palmer Snowboarding 2 never came out. I was so into that game, dude. That's even more of a throwback from 3 because, like, I've played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 so much since then, but Sean Palmer's Pro Snowboarder is, like... Since I haven't had a PS2, I have not played that game.
Really?
Yeah, and I used to... That was a game that I played as much as I played Tony Hawk's 3.
That's like the one game that makes sense for the format with like the timed things.
Yeah.
Because you were already going down like a limited track.
Right.
Whereas like skateboarding should have always been open because you're not... I mean, I guess sometimes you're doing like certain trick orders and stuff, but for the most part, it's a free... roaming sport.
Rest in peace, Dave Mirror. Right. I 100%.
But yeah, no, I definitely didn't play that one. I didn't play any. I may have played the Matt Hoffman game once.
Yeah. Did you play Dave Mirror?
I've definitely no. I don't think I've even heard of that. Dave Mirror.
No, you don't. You've definitely seen this art. It's the red. Like, this was everywhere in the PS2 days.
Maybe.
Like, yeah, this solid red background.
I've probably seen it, but it doesn't.
The dude. Fuck, I went back. Talk about secret characters and Slim Jim guy.
Yeah.
Secret character in Dave Mirror 2 is the Slim Jim guy.
That's cool.
And I think the Slim Jim guy is just a pro BMX dude. I think it's Rick Thorne. I'll have to look that up.
Incoming dishes.
But I was pretty sure Rick Thorne is the Slim Jim guy.
It absorbs grease
That's
5
cool.
times faster. Even replaces multiple cleaning products.
Those suds got game.
Dawn Power Wash, the better grease getter.
I also wasn't like a fan of riding bikes in video games. Kind of like with horses. You're just like so limited.
No, really? I mean, this is Tony Hawk, but with the BMX.
No, I know, yeah. It's still like, even when you get like the bike in like American Wasteland and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was the one thing with American Wasteland that was such a bummer, is that, like, I expected it to be like this. I was like, why is it like, why can I not do tricks?
Yeah, why is it limited? It is very weird.
Especially with the Matt Hoffman level being in 4, it was like, why can I not do a tailspin or anything like that, you know? It's very strange. Slim Jim guy... actor. It's really hard. If you just look up Slim Jim guy, nobody tells you. Dmitry Goristas, a human personification of Slim Jim who would wreak havoc. Yeah, I thought he was a pro skater, but maybe not. Maybe it's just they had Rick Thorne dress up as him.
Nice.
But yeah, it talks about him being a secret character. Unfortunately, Dave Mirra did kill himself in 2016. Battling depression and stuff.
Yeah.
So they probably will never bring back Dave Mirra freestyle BMX, but
yeah,
I would love some kind of at least the second one to come back. But if you just had a collection with both of them in there,
why not? Yeah,
it would be.
That'd be
so
cool.
I don't think he got canceled or anything. I think it was just depression. I don't remember ever hearing anything bad about Dave Mirra. I'm sure there's something out there if you look hard enough, but it's like this is one of those things of like nobody wants to touch it now because of that. Which is a bummer because like those games were really good. It's really hard when you have licensed soundtracks, and that's why like a lot of these games never come back.
Yeah, that's toughy. There's so many different songs and stuff.
You have all the licenses for songs, you have all the licenses for your athletes, and then you have all the licenses for your brands and stuff. The pros.
That's another thing, is that there's hella brands in these games.
Yeah, just so many.
That's kind of what helped with all of it, is all the brands.
Right.
If it wasn't for all the brands, you probably wouldn't have been able to do this
and
stuff.
The soundtracks too.
For sure, yeah.
The soundtracks worked both ways back then, where it was like songs sold games, but also like, oh, there's Rick Thorne right there in the background with the neck tattoo.
There's definitely games that promote songs, just like movies.
There's so many bands that I know because of Tony Hawk.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And Guitar Hero.
Even sports games. There's certain songs that I'll listen to and be like, oh, this was on MLB 2001 or whatever, you know.
The Passenger by Iggy Pop.
Yeah.
Like fucking Ace of Spades from Motorhead and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3.
Yeah.
Police Truck by the Dead Kennedys and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1.
Right. It's all tied together.
And then hip hop as well, like Del the Funky Homo Sapien, De La Soul, fucking Wu Tang, Public Enemy, Big L. Like,
this is a trailer for the game.
This is the intro.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so like all these games have like a mini video.
They can't help themselves. They have to include skate trick promos.
Right. Well, they're showing off all the pros as well.
No, I know, but I mean that's in their nature to have mini clips of themselves doing things.
For sure.
You wouldn't be an extreme sporter.
And the cool thing about like when you would meet these pros and stuff in the game, like, and you unlock their thing or whatever, like you would get a skate video from them. Like
I remember that.
Yeah.
I do remember that from whichever games I played. I'm pretty sure even American Wasteland did that.
Yeah, 100%.
Where you got like different, just like full length. You'd have to. But that was before like YouTube was. You could just go on YouTube and search.
Right.
And you wouldn't even know what to search. You wouldn't know these people's names, so you got to watch like a whole, full straightforward little video of this
dude.
guy you didn't know doing crazy shit.
A lot of the time it was that we would watch those and try to figure out what video they were part of so we could
That was
buy
the
it.
promo. Yeah, it was definitely a big promo back then
Like-
for sports people.
Yeah, Rodney Mullen's fucking Alien Workshop, his part from
God,
Tony Hawk's
yeah.
Pro Skater 3 is one of the most iconic freestyle parts of all time.
Probably the most watched video ever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
As far as skating, I still watch that sometimes.
Yeah, it's him just doing Caspers on top of the flat table in the middle of the sand. Like, crazy shot. The Primo slide to fucking Casper slide back to Primo, like on the top of the picnic tables.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. These were such vibes, man. The interesting thing about the Dave Mirra game and stuff like that, I wasn't gonna bring it up. Do you know who Acclaim is? Acclaim Games? Do you remember them from
I
back
don't
in the day?
think so.
So Acclaim was a publisher. I'll turn this off now so we don't have to listen to it. You've seen that logo before, I'm sure.
Okay, yeah.
Acclaim was around for a very long time. They were kind of like THQ, kind of B-tier games, a lot of licensing.
Mm-hmm.
They would do a lot of games like this.
Okay.
This wasn't them. This would have been Activision at the time. Same thing with Sean Palmer. Dave Mirra was them though.
Mm.
Dave Mirra was Acclaim. They're back. Acclaim is back, but they are. It's like the corpse of Acclaim is back with new people.
Yeah.
Kind of behind the scenes. I don't think you'll know a lot of these people behind this, but Acclaim Entertainment, the legendary company, published titles like Mortal Kombat in the 1980s and 1990s. That's kind of... They published the console versions. They didn't publish Mortal Kombat specifically. They're back as an indie publisher. After more than 2 decades, a team of industry veterans... Oh, thanks, GameSpeed. Getting rid of that. Let's bring back one of gaming's most iconic brands. I don't know about most iconic brands. Published original intellectual property, said Alex Joseph, CEO of Los Angeles company. It's a relaunch, revitalization of Acclaim brand with a completely new team, Joseph said. Some players have an association with Acclaim in the past, but it's an all-new team. I was trying to get into more of the details of what this is. Basically, indie entrepreneur, indie developer, director, Mr. Joseph here is teaming up with pro wrestler Jeff Jarrett to bring back Acclaim. This Joseph guy, he's been a part of the Turnip Boy games. Turnip Boy commits tax evasion. Turnip Boy commits robbery. Those games. I don't know if you've seen those, but they're like small deal indie games, but they're like everywhere.
So. Okay.
They're fine. You dig them. Yeah.
Okay.
You would probably dig them a lot more than I would.
Which? Weird.
This is weird because they're buying Acclaim. Acclaim was known for licensing. Like, they had the MLB license for a long time. They did all of these, like, movie tie-in games. They did sports games. Like, that's what they did. And Acclaim shut down in 2004, originally. They were brought back from the dead back then. And then they went defunct again. When they went defunct that second time, they sold off a bunch of the stuff that wasn't licensed.
Yeah.
I think even some of the actual licensed stuff. Like, I don't think they own Dave Mirra anymore. that IP. I think that got bought off along with like a couple of other things too.
Yeah.
Actually, here's one of the bigger games. Remake this. I dare you, cowards. BMX Triple X.
Wow.
The game where you could ride a BMX as a topless woman.
Nice. Necessary.
Yeah, or you could play as a pimp. What a weird fucking game, dude.
Wow.
This game is banned on Twitch.
Well, I would imagine so, yeah. Of course it is. Why would anyone even consider it?
It's exactly what you think it is.
It's literally, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the early 2000s Spike TV generation.
Oh, yeah. I think this might even be before Spike TV, dude. No, this is probably the prime time Mr. Man show.
Right.
Like, going on. You're right. 100%. This is the other game that I would like them to remake. Right here. Aggressive Inline. It's Tony Hawk, but it's all rollerblading and stuff.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
This game is sick as fuck.
Yeah.
The levels are a lot more, like, thought out than you would think of. Like, rails that would go into other parts of the level and stuff like that. Things that you would do to unlock new parts of the... Like, I mean, Tony Hawk always had that kind of stuff, but, like, this game felt... Aggressive Inline felt like even what it was lacking in tricks and stuff like that.
Yeah, because you can only do so much.
Yeah, it felt like the exploring was there to back it up. So,
yeah.
Like, oh, I can only do a certain amount of grinds, but, like, what about if I could combo these grinds up to get to this thing and open up this whole half of it?
What's that one game, Maximum Overdrive?
Yeah.
Where you're just, like, grinding telephone rails the whole time?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, exactly. And, like, Tony Hawk ended up becoming that much later, but, like, actually, American Wasteland is probably, like, when it started becoming that more.
Yeah.
But the Aggressive Inline was like one of the first remembrances of that. BMX Triple X, even though it's like this weird, like, horny, nudie game, it plays it pretty straight on the BMX part of it.
Yeah.
Of, like, they're just actual pro BMXers in that, like, just ripping it up.
Yeah.
And then also there's nude topless porn stars in it for some reason. It's a very strange game. But it's expensive and it's banned in a bunch of places, so I bought it.
It's great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it was complete. It was like a really nice complete copy. So.
Oh, wow. None of the pages stick together? That's great.
No, actually that manual is like the cleanest part of this whole thing. There's no nudity in it. It just shows the same picture of a girl's butt, like, on every page. And some cleavage on every page.
Oh, wow. Look at that. And then just this one
tiny little poster.
Teaser. Oh, there's a strip pole on the
bike.
That's honestly pretty creative.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie.
It's a good one.
Good marketing. Good job.
I like that. It's funny. We can send in this warranty registration to Acclaim Entertainment.
You think so?
Get your game on with Acclaim. Register at acclaim.com or return this card. Hey, player, before you pick up the controller, take a second to register with Acclaim. It's quick and easy, we promise. You might just end up with some cool stuff.
Easy.
Get the 411, receive exclusive advance news. I wonder if I look up this address, what's in that building now?
Right. It's an IKEA.
Dude, that would be funny as hell. I doubt it's even called this anymore. They just straight up own this whole plaza. It's called One Acclaim Plaza.
Oh, wow.
Glen.
So now it's like a shopping
Cove, New
strip
York.
mall?
Oh, it's now called Allen Cove. That's not what I wanted. Glen Cove, New York. We could drive there right now.
All right.
How long has this podcast been? It still hasn't been long enough. It would take us 2 hours and 43 minutes to drive there. Like I say, it's just the amount of time it would drive is just as long as this podcast has been.
Just about.
But I don't know where it would be in Glen Cove, but I mean, this seems pretty nice where this is at. It's like right off the edge right there.
Oh, okay. That's not terrible.
Yeah. You can get like all I don't know if the camera can see that far close, but
It's a coastal city. You can probably view the water from your office.
yeah, but one Acclaim Plaza
Yeah.
does not exist anymore.
Well. Yeah.
The Acclaim Plaza does not exist anymore. That's funny. Yeah, it is interesting that they would bring that back from the dead, but just like anything, we talked about Tony Hawk 3+4 remake, everything's being remade. What's old is new, what's new is old.
I hope they have an old version of Tony.
Yeah, did you see, we'll go back to the things. They're all old, dude.
Oh, in the game?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wasn't paying attention that much, but that's funny.
And the 1+2 remake, I think the same thing as well.
I saw like the picture of all the old skaters sitting together, so I assumed that they probably did that.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like able to really tell when
Yeah, that's a 55-year-old Tony Hawk right there.
How can you tell?
He's like gray.
Oh, I guess.
And that's old-ass Steve Cavallero right there.
So you'd have to know who these people are.
Yeah, that's Bucky Lasik right there. That's Alicia Steamer.
So all of these are just NPCs to me, besides Tony. I honestly didn't even know that was Tony at first until you pointed it out.
That's new. I think that's Nitro, but that's new. I don't know. I think that's Lindsay Adams. I keep thinking that is, but I don't think so. That could be Lindsay Adams too. She wears the beanie quite a bit. She's not in the original, but the only one who hasn't been confirmed for the game is Bam. Bam is in 3 and 4.
Yeah. But he's a crazy person.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate of everything that's happened with him.
Yeah. That's cool though.
Yeah, I wish we had a little bit more close-ups on like what they look like. But yeah, that's an old-ass Tony Hawk right there in that thumbnail. Yeah, he's like super gray. Compared to what he used to be, dude. He used to have like bleach blonde hair. Yeah. Go watch the original Tony Hawk 3 trailer real quick. I don't think I've ever seen the original trailer for these games. Come on. There we go. Trailer. Tokyo. Fuck.
Nice.
I don't know. Is there anything else? What have you been playing?
I mean, I really haven't had time other than Balatro. I've tried to squeeze a little bit of a Baldur's Gate into, just because I want to at least stay aware of the story that I'm in.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to like not play it for too long and then just completely forget the relevance of what I've done. So I squeeze a little bit of that in there. But other than that, I've been doing so much. I mean, I've been to Boston like 3 times just this week. So it's like, it's mostly just been a lot of driving. Like, I'll probably go to Worcester tonight. So, like, yeah. Which, you know, may be a reason to get a portable device one day, but...
Oh, I do remember this.
But yeah. But other than that, I mean... I haven't really done too much.
No.
I almost didn't even update my Xbox subscription. I was like, I don't even know if I need to do this.
Right. No, totally.
Especially because Kenny also has one. So, but it's more a matter of like, well, I want, certain games to just be on my thing or whatever. But.
Right. Right. And then you're like, oh, well, I was playing 3 games, and now I can't play any of them because they're all tied to that subscription.
Exactly, right. So.
Yeah, totally.
So,
this
yeah.
trailer's a lot different than I remember. I thought. I mean, like I said, I didn't remember what they were playing at the time, but I have seen that video before. I thought that was a lot more go-y.
Mm.
A lot more to it. Yeah, I'm excited for 3+4 though. July 11th is the date on that.
It does look pretty cool. I mean, it will be exciting.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Oh yeah, the day before they officially announced it, he was on Colbert.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was like, it leaked, and they still hadn't announced it yet, and then he goes on Colbert, and he's just like full on talking about it at this point, and they're like, still haven't revealed it yet, technically. Like, there was a countdown.
Well, that's
to
very
the reveal.
Punk rock of him.
You're right.
It's my game.
Yeah, it was very strange to be like, we're gonna set a countdown timer to the reveal, and then.
But it's already been revealed.
Yeah. The night before, go on on Colbert. I didn't play much. I played some more Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I unfortunately had a big loss on Saturday. So I kind of went into a melancholic state and didn't do anything.
Yeah.
But the days I could record, I did those reaction videos and got those out.
Oh, right, yeah.
So I did those. But yeah, Saturday I lost my dog of 9 years. My Great Dane had a heart attack. I would have recorded on Sunday and didn't. I was definitely not feeling great at that point.
Understandably, yeah.
Yeah. So I spent that time just kind of like alone, just watching YouTube and just moping around, mourning.
Right.
But the plan is I wanted to start Sly Cooper like a week or two ago.
Yeah.
So the plan is to start Sly Cooper this week. So I'll have
that
to talk about.
Sly.
Maybe some new games. Maybe, I don't know. Really, there's not a lot that I want to play. Split Fiction's out now, but that needs to be the both of us to play it, or 2 players in general. So playing it by myself is impossible. The other thing is that Yu-Gi-Oh! Collection's out now. It's not on PlayStation. It's only on Switch and PC. But there's the Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days collection that just came out, and it has the 14 Game Boy games.
Wow.
From the original.
That's crazy.
1999 series. All in one collection and everything like that.
Yeah.
Including like the only game they have ever made where Yu-Gi-Oh! Is not playing the Yu-Gi-Oh! Game. Because originally Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a comic, or an anime comic, a manga. It's a manga about a guy who's just really good at playing games.
Yeah.
And that's his whole thing. And then the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game is like one arc of that manga series. It was like 6 books or whatever of the manga series. And then that did really well. And they're like, fuck it, we're just going with this whole thing. But the original run of the manga series, like Yu-Gi-Oh's playing like Russian roulette and shit like that. Like people are dying like Fucking
Yeah.
it's all
and then he
it's
just
really
got
fucked up.
locked in on this one. He's like, this game's the best.
Yeah.
Best game I've played.
Yeah, this game's really cool. There's one of the Game Boy games is like Dicey Dungeons or whatever, and it's like a Yahtzee dice game combo.
Yeah, I've seen
where
that
you
game.
fight. Yeah. Yeah, that they have a Game Boy version of that. So that's one of those games. So that's the only game that's not the
That's
Yu-Gi-Oh
interesting.
card game.
Wow.
And there's games in that before the card game even existed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because they started the TV show before the cards even came out.
Right, yeah, they didn't even know.
Yeah. It was,
Yeah.
Like, a year or two into the show is when they finally figured out the rules of the card game.
Right.
So, there's cards. The card game in that have, like, completely different rule sets, and
Right.
like cards do different things that they would normally do. The things that mean things now don't mean things then.
Yeah.
So that really interests me, especially because I don't have the nostalgia for the Yu-Gi-Oh game
Yeah.
like I do for Pokemon. I collected the cards, I watched the show, but like I didn't play Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
I played it, like, we were like, oh, I have this many hit points, and your monster has this many hit points, so I obviously win.
Right.
But the rules didn't exist, so we didn't play by any rules or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very strange. But that collection's really cool. It's $50.
Wow.
I think that's fine for 14 games.
That's okay.
Some
Well, yeah,
people
that's
are
true.
like,
Totally. Yeah.
they're Game Boy
That
games.
is a lot of
though."
games.
Yeah, but I was like, even if it's $50 for Game Boy games, like you would
That's
have
still
never,
so many hours of games.
Yeah, you would have never played those games regardless. Like,
Right.
Imagine even trying to pick those up by themselves. Like
Yeah.
how much those games specifically
piece?
cost.
Yeah.
A piece.
And then to have the system to play all of them,
Right. Thankfully,
and
Game
they work
Boys.
correctly.
Yeah. Right. That's a big thing too. Like the battery situation we were just talking
Yeah,
about.
that's crazy. Who knew?
Right. Like that's a whole fucking ordeal thing. Now you got to deal with 14 versions of that.
Yeah.
I think some of those games never even came to the U.S. So a lot of some of those games that have been translated for the first time.
So be grateful, people complaining.
Yeah, collections are weird because like I love them no matter what. Like I don't always like buy all of them or anything like that, but like I think they're the best way for things like this to move forward.
100%. Yeah.
But now you have like this whole side business, not even a side business, but you have publishers now that like these collections are like their whole bag.
Yeah.
Like Digital Eclipse specifically, their whole thing is remastering old games and then also bringing up like documentary style interviews and like you fucking a whole bunch of like paperwork and stuff from back in the day, concept art and stuff. Digital Eclipse goes all out on their stuff, but that's what their budget is allocated towards. Like,
Yeah.
That's what they do. Konami has done a bunch of these collections, but they usually don't have a lot of the supplementary material.
Yeah.
So now everybody wants to complain about, oh, there's not enough concept art or whatever. I'm like, fucking play the game.
Right. Yeah.
Play the game that you bought.
That's the art.
Go look at the pictures on the internet. Like, shit, dude. Like, I get it. It's cool to have that stuff all in one place and in the context of it. But at a certain point, we gotta be like, hey, we wouldn't have had these any other way.
Right.
Like, especially the stuff that just wasn't translated in English. Like,
Yeah, for real.
that's crazy. We don't need a fucking... I don't need, like, business docs on, like, fucking so and so went to the office today. He
Right,
got
yeah.
his coffee, and then he thought really hard about the card game structure. I don't care. It's Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, you can watch a documentary.
Right.
Yeah.
You can watch a documentary or, like, I don't know, like, literally anything else.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, when it's there, and that's cool. But, like...
Yeah, of course, if you include it, but it's not necessary, especially because it's a game. So.
Right. I feel like it's one of those things that... It's like the culture war thing where people are just getting mad just to be mad.
Right.
Like, this is one of those things where, like, people are just, like, up Konami's ass
enough.
about it.
It's
for
never
some
enough.
reason.
No matter what you give them, they always want another bite.
Right. I don't get it. I do wish that they ported it to more things. I don't get why it's only on Switch and PC.
Mm.
I mean, they are Game Boy games, so having it on Switch makes sense. I just don't know why it's only there.
Yeah.
I wish it was on PlayStation or Xbox as well. If you can find it physically, I would say buy it physically. Apparently, it comes with 3 promo cards if you buy it physically.
Oh,
and
that's cool.
They're not always certain on which ones.
Right.
I think there's 29 promos in total is what I saw.
Okay.
I don't know if that's true or not. But what I remember seeing is that there's 29 of them in total, and you can get 3 of them
At a time.
at a time.
Okay. So any 3.
You're right. Physical games, though, fuck, dude, I don't even know where to get them at this point.
Right.
Like, you gotta be on Amazon or something, because, like, Walmart's still okay with stocking physical sometimes, but they're really hit or miss on what they get.
Yeah.
Target's just completely gutted. Like,
I don't go to Target for anything except like clothes maybe.
Yeah, it's so far out of the way now, but I went to the Target just to look to see if they had anything Pokemon related. And of course they didn't, but it's like all their video games section are just like gutted.
Yeah.
It's like they have video game memorabilia, and then like they have a section for what games are there or what should be there, but they're all just empty, like plastic cases.
A lot of it's just empty.
It's like, what's the point?
It's like some sports games or something. Yeah.
Right. And it's like, I know that this shit costs money. Like, store space costs money. PlayStation is paying money to have a space of just dead games. Like, nothing there.
It's just ad space at this point.
But for what? Like, they're not...
So people just remember to go online later and buy a game.
Play PlayStation.
It's just like any other ad anywhere else. It's like a billboard.
We don't got anything to show you here to play, but you can think about playing.
Because if they don't pay for it, something else will be there. So they'd rather pay for it just for the spot than give it Xbox a second shelf or something.
Right.
You know?
The only section that's ever filled in anything, and even Target's just really bad at keeping anything in stock in general. But it's Nintendo.
Yeah, Target.
Nintendo.
Get your shit together.
Target, dude. It's garbage. And Nintendo's always stocked. Nintendo had, and when every place I've worked at with the Nintendo section, Nintendo has a rep that comes in once a month, checks all that shit out, makes sure
that makes sense, honestly.
Yeah, they have that same person make sure like the demo kiosk is up to date.
Yeah,
like, they make sure all the games are aligned.
Dusts their displays. Yeah,
like no shit, dude, and like the majority of them have like a Mario statue. It's Mario on like the flagpole, like sliding down. They'll bring out a duster and fucking dust that shit.
Yeah, they probably fucking
like,
have
in between his mustache,
like a ruler,
like,
and make
nose.
sure no one's touched him or anything. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and Nintendo was really, really big on keeping that spot tidy, while Xbox and PlayStation are just like fucking.
Yeah,
they
just
look
do whatever.
Just demolished all the time. The Xbox section in Target doesn't even have a place for games anymore. Like, PlayStation still has like the empty crystal casing stuff.
Yeah.
But Xbox, they just completely took that section out.
Oh, wow.
It's like,
Yeah, I really don't know the last time I went there to look at games.
yeah.
Especially because everything's on the online store. So, like, I mean, if you want something physical, but now I don't even think, like, oh, I should go to the store to get this game. I'm like, oh, hopefully it's on Game Pass.
Yeah, it's always when I'm there for Pokemon. It's
Oh,
Pokemon
right. Yeah,
I'm
of
there
course.
for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck finding Pokemon online. Good luck finding Pokemon anywhere. But, you know, I bought a theme deck, which is just a pre-built deck today, just so I have extra cards and stuff like that. And I was like, I need to open something. I haven't opened anything in weeks. It's just been so dead out there. Pokemon said that they're reprinting on the Pokemon side of things. They said they're reprinting for demand and stuff, but I don't know, man.
Yeah.
The Pokemon world is real bad right now. The Prismatic Evolutions is an amazing set that is also a curse to the Pokemon community. Where, like, I mean, that's the reason why everybody's fighting everyone again right now, is for that set. It has cards, like, upwards to $2,000 in it.
Oh, wow.
And several of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
They're all the evolutions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Every time there's an evolution set, that all hell breaks loose and stuff.
Right.
But those packs are typically, you would buy $5.99 at most. $4.99 is typically what you would pay per pack. Surging Sparks as well. Surging Sparks is going for like 12 something a pack right now.
Wow.
And then Prismatic Evolutions is like $19-$20 a pack right now.
That's crazy.
And that's...
But, I mean, you could still get, like, a $2,000 card, so...
Right. But the pull rates are fucked.
Right.
You're all basing it off luck at that point. I mean, like, the majority of Pokemon sets, not everyone, but I would say 80% of them have a card worth above $300 in it.
Yeah.
And then now, especially with modern stuff, 80% of modern stuff will have a card in it worth $300 or above. But nowadays, like, yeah, the modern market is so high end that it's pricing out people that, like, just casually do this shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what Pokemon needs to do to, like, get its shit together.
Take a break.
Yeah.
It needs to stop making monsters all the time.
Well, they haven't made it.
I don't know.
They haven't made a new
I don't know
Pokemon.
anything
It's
about
been 3.5 years since Scarlet and Violet.
It still feels like every day I hear about a new Pokemon.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I mean, there's so many, so of course, but yeah.
right. And they have so many spin-offs and stuff like that. That's the big thing of, like, the main series stuff. The Generations. Generation 9 was Scarlet and Violet, which was 2001, I think. Maybe 2022. And then they do 2 major expansions for it. They used to they would have the 2 main games, right?
Yeah.
They have both versions, and then you'd have a third version the year later of, like, everything comes all together.
Oh,
kind
right.
Of thing.
Yeah.
So you'd have, like, Ruby and Sapphire, and then Crystal or Emerald. It's gold, silver, and crystal, and then ruby, sapphire, emerald, red, blue, yellow.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, that's how it used to be. Modern Pokemon, Sword and Shield, and Scarlet and Violet had DLC expansions, and there's, like, it was basically the same price of, like, $40 gets you both expansions, and it's the equivalent of a third game.
Yeah.
But that's typically what the release of that this year would be the 10th generation. They're not doing a 10th generation this year. Presumably they're doing it next year. Next year's also the 30th anniversary of Pokemon.
Oh, they want them probably that would make sense if they lined up. Yeah.
Yeah, it would make a lot of sense. But also, I think the backlash to Scarlet and Violet, to how bad that launch was enough to scare them away of like their normal cadence.
Right.
Because they've never broken a cycle since the beginning. And now they're finally breaking a cycle of like 3 years. Now they're going to do 4 years plus on a game. What can they do? I don't know if it's going to be much more of than what we got, but I mean, Legends ZA is still coming out. That's still Game Freak.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much that extra time is really going to help if they're already working on something else.
Yeah.
We'll see. But I think Scarlet and Violet is worth jumping into now. They haven't had a lot of updates to fix some of the frame rate, but it's playable now.
Yeah.
It's not like broken. There's points in like the original launch where it was dropping at like 5 frames a second.
Jeez.
Like, real bad shit.
Sucks, yeah.
And the game runs at like 24. So it's not like running at a full 30 either. It's like it's bad.
Right, yeah.
Especially when you start getting to online and stuff like that. If you want to do anything competitive, like the frame rate was so fucked.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you need frame rate.
Yeah. There's something else with the online stuff too. It was like completely messed up. Like something about like predictability and moves and stuff like that. Like
yeah.
There was something really broken with the online when it first came out. I don't remember. I love playing those games competitively when the time is coming, but I don't play those games competitively. Like, people, that's some people's only thing they do.
Oh, I bet, yeah. It's definitely
competitive Pokemon.
It's a religion.
Yeah. Especially when millions of dollars are on the line at Worlds.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. I think the prize pool of the last one was like $5 million in total.
That's crazy.
And then you get a prize for 1st through 4th place. Yeah, and that's only one piece of the puzzle, too. Again, we talk about Pokemon, but Pokemon is like the video games, the card games, Pokemon Go, and then the TCG Online, and then Pokken. And we don't talk about Pokken a lot because they haven't made a new Pokken in a while, but Pokken is Tekken, but with Pokemon.
That's cool.
Yeah, so you can play as a Pokemon.
I think we've talked about that before, though.
Yeah.
We've definitely, but that's pretty sick.
Pokken's so cool, man.
Yeah.
I love. I wanted them to do so many cool things with it. Apparently, it's even more popular in Japan because they have like Pokken cabinets.
Yeah.
Where like just like any arcade machine, you can go in with your like a card, scan your Pokemon into the machine,
right,
and then be able to just fucking battle.
It's a good idea
from the cabinet.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
It's like this idea is like they just could have done so much more with it. I mean, they did a remaster version for the Switch, but they didn't do a sequel or anything.
Yeah. Weird.
There's so many other Pokemon that we could do.
That is always a tough choice, isn't it?
I mean, now this kind of looks like the Arceus, or the Legends combat. Just without the player character with you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Learn how to play the game with them.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
It's because the Joy-Cons didn't exist when the original one came out. I guess it makes sense to show you like some of it, but got Mega Evolutions in there. I didn't know that there was like this whole story mode thing to it.
That's cool. I mean, that makes sense. So you learn to play, and
Yeah.
you're not forced to like online stuff. That's sick.
Yeah. So cool. But that's why you hear so much about Pokemon. And I'm also a super freak when it comes to it. But
Right, yeah.
there's so many weird spin-offs and stuff. Like mobile game wise as well, like Pokemon Go, but they have Masters EX, which is a straight up RPG for the phone.
Oh,
and
word.
then they have Cafe Remix, which is a match 3 game where it's Bejeweled but with Pokemon faces.
That makes sense, yeah, of course.
Yeah, but that's a remake of a different game called Puzzle League,
Yeah.
which was very popular way back in the day. But like you use that to, it helps with ingredients to make food for the Pokemon and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's not, there's like a cooking mechanic to that whole thing. It's not just a match 3, but that's basically the thing is. I think also it's like, if I remember what Puzzle League is that Bejeweled is set in a grid, right? Puzzle
Yeah.
League is not.
Yeah, it's all like toppling.
Yeah, it's all, yeah, exactly. And then there was another, Unite is the other Pokemon game that I don't talk about. That's the League of Legends clone.
Oh, we talked about that one though. Yeah.
Yeah, that's super popular. That's probably their stealth most popular game at the moment.
Yeah, I remember talking about that. I remember talking about trying it. I never did, but I was.
You probably. I mean,
I liked League, so.
Yeah, and it's like
yeah,
super low powered League too. Like I know League, you can basically run on like, you could run it on a piece of toilet paper and some fucking electricity.
Yeah.
But same thing with Unite.
Okay.
And then Unite's free, so you
Oh,
can just
word.
kind of like get a couple of Pokemon, and unlock them real quick, and like figure it out.
Right.
Also, it's a lot less slutty. It's a lot less sweaty than League.
Oh, good.
is.
League is too slutty. Too many sluts in League.
Too many sluts. Same thing with Pokemon.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But that's good.
it's a lot of people's first one of those.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
And then a lot of the people that it's Pokemon, so there's a lot of 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds, like playing that
Just
game
playing
as well.
it, yeah. So it's a good, like, practice
Yeah.
for League.
Yeah, there's no, like, voice chat in it or anything like that, so you don't have to worry about people calling you the N-word or anything.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Happens all the time.
Yeah, I bet in League, I assume so. League is... The last time I've touched League was terrible. League, Dota...
I usually only play if I have people online.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I rarely play by myself anymore if I ever get on.
Right. And Unite, you can have a team of people, but
Yeah.
I think it does cater very much to you just jumping in a random team because of it expects you being a child.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. That's really all I have for today, though. I mean, we're almost at 3 hours. It seems like it went by pretty fast, but
Yeah, it's still day out.
yeah, it's
Look at that.
5:19. Usually would be dark. The last few weeks has been.
5:15.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, I don't really have much more. I don't have any news or anything like that. I didn't really play much, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's definitely trying to, but just work and life. Yeah. Anything special with you going on this week? Any shows? Anything crazy?
No. I mean, I have a show this weekend, but it's just in Boston. It's nothing nuts.
No.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
another show.
Nice. Nice. I saw that you got 4th in the one-liner show.
Yeah, I got top 4 in there was a one-liner contest last week.
I didn't presume 4th. I didn't know if you got 4th
Yeah.
or if you were just in the top 4.
It was the top 4. I mean, technically 3rd, but in a bracket system, it could go either way.
Right.
But top 4, yeah.
Is that mean you have to face the finalists? Or
No, there was a bracket the whole time, so I
Oh.
got out in the last 4.
Oh, okay. So there's still a winner after that.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's just so after I went out, then the last 2 people went up and did their thing. So
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah. Fuck.
yeah, but that was cool. That was exciting.
That's crazy.
Fun time.
I want to. It's so hard, especially with my schedule now. But I do want to go to like a special gimmick show like that. It's the only time I've ever seen you perform. I guess I've seen you at comics once or twice, but the only other times are open mics, and
Yeah.
open mics aren't the the star stunner
That's
kind of
true,
thing.
right.
It's like you're there to practice shit, and other people are there to practice shit. And
Right.
usually, I mean, no offense to you or anyone else.
Well, usually it's shit. No,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
It's not. It's usually shit, or it's not funny, and
Yep.
it's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be good or funny. It's supposed to be like
No,
you
it's
working it
it's
out.
working it out. Right. It's just saying it out loud and getting
right.
the motions done and all that.
It's like, oh, these open mics are really fun, but I don't get why we're here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really not meant for people that aren't there to do it, but
It was cool to hang out.
yeah.
But I would love to go to like one of those one-liner things or like the roast battle or whatever, like and see like
Yeah, those are really
an
fun.
actual comedy thing. Because it's the same thing with, we talked about Kill Tony or stuff like that. It's the same thing with his stuff. It's like you're just watching people bomb
Right.
for 2 hours and then the occasional 2 minutes of gold in between. And that's why they have clips of that show, because
Exactly.
there's a few minutes of gold and 3 hours, 2 hours of just fucking bombs.
Yeah.
I saw a video of Mark Rebellier doing his bit on the he plays music on the streets or whatever like that. He's the guy who does all the
Oh,
loops and
right.
stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, this dude is naturally more funnier than anybody on Kill Tony.
Yeah.
Just like fucking
He's
just
great.
riffing just
Yeah.
all the time.
All the time he's riffing, yeah. He's good.
I was like, this dude, it's just naturally funny. I don't know why. I don't know. How bad people bomb on that show on Kill Tony is just insane.
Yeah, it's definitely a talent. Not everyone's funny. Not
Right,
everyone can be either.
Some people it seems like a talent of how bad they bomb.
It's impressive.
Like,
You're right. Yeah.
I don't-
Yeah.
How are you a person?
It's impressive how confident people have over things that aren't funny.
Or just like people know that they're bad. Like
You'd be surprised. People have no clue.
so
I've been to a billion open mics. People will literally bomb for 5 minutes and be like, killed it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's there is a large quantity of people that claim to be comedians that are just insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a big ego thing. So
It's just self-awareness. Like, it's crazy.
yeah, big lack of that in America. Well, the world outside of comedy, I think.
Yeah. I would say,
But yeah,
6 out of 10 people on Kill Tony are like, oh, I know my jokes aren't great, but
oh for sure. They're like,
yeah,
this is my first time, or yeah.
first times are fine. I want first timers. It's their first
No,
time.
first timers shouldn't be there either. They should
On Kill Tony.
they
yes,
should do
specifically, yeah.
multiple mics, build up some material, and then go on Kill Tony.
Right.
So they're not wasting everyone else's time.
Yeah, right. 100%.
But at the same time, that's Kill Tony's format.
Yeah.
So you reap what you sow.
And that's
if you get
what
a bunch of shitty
he's
people.
looking for is...
He's looking
Yeah.
for someone semi-talented, but not too... He wants the talented people, but he also wants the people that are just funny enough that he can shit on, and that they'll still feel okay for being funny.
Right.
He doesn't want the people that just bomb completely, because then the crowd gets anxious and rowdy.
Right.
But he wants somewhere in the middle, so he can be like, yeah, you did good, but let me poop on you for like 10 minutes, and then, yeah. No,
Right.
there's a thing.
And he doesn't want anybody to outshine him either.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I think a couple of the regulars are fine. I think they're funny. Like Casey has, I think, Casey has a bit. and he can carry his
Yeah.
bit in a show by himself, but him mixed in with all of the others is just fucking chaos.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
get. He's definitely a totally different bag of comedian versus all the others, but I think Will's funny.
Yeah.
I thought Cam is okay for the most part. Cam tells a lot of the same joke in different ways.
Yeah. Well, he's the newest out of all of them, so I think he's mostly figuring himself out. He's evolved like 3 times since he started.
Yeah, that's
just like
true.
in different sort of personas. Like he's trying to stay true to himself, but blend in with everyone else. And there's a lot to unpack in the comedy politics side of that, but
All right.
I'm not gonna.
Why not? This is the
No,
format
I don't
for
wanna.
it. This is the podcast.
This is a video game podcast.
This is
Also, I'm getting really hungry, so.
Oh, well, it's not just this is our podcast. If you're here just for video games, I appreciate it. But this is our podcast as well, so everything's on the table for
That's
us.
fair.
But you're right. It is dinner time. You should probably go get food. I should probably start thinking about it. It's breakfast time for me.
Yeah. We're on different. I was gonna say you probably go to the diner or something.
Yeah. The other day I ordered a pizza. He was like, "Have a good night." I'm like, "This is my morning."
Yeah.
I just woke up.
It just like really hit me the last like 15 minutes.
No,
I was
for
like,
sure.
oh god. I could like hear my stomach suddenly, and I was like, oh man.
We started talking about Pokemon food.
That's what it was. Yeah. Well, I think it's mostly too because of the time change thing.
Oh,
So my
yeah,
mind
1 hour.
isn't adjusted to the daylight
Yeah, it's
of like,
6
oh,
o'clock
technically
now.
it's dinner right now, but my mind is like, no, it's a little after lunch. So I'm still
Yeah.
like adjusting to that, as well as like I said, earlier I said how I'm creating an actual efficient schedule. So
Right.
before I'd lay in bed till like 10:30 on my phone, you know, or go play a video game on the Xbox or whatever. But now I'm like getting up and actually eating breakfast. So like so there's a whole.
keeping it in a rhythm
I'm trying to maintain
sure.
something,
for sure.
which is an evolution in itself. I'll get better at, but
Yeah, of course. It'll take a month or two at least.
yeah.
But yeah, we'll call it there. Almost 3 hours. That's a podcast right there.
That's a podcast. That's a movie.
It's been a few weeks. We will not be taking another break like that anytime soon. It will be back to the normal schedule. So we'll figure it out. It could be a Tuesday, it could be a Sunday, it could be whatever, just because Patrick's still figuring out school-wise, but we will record around his schedule.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. As long as we don't go on vacation, we'll be fine.
Right, and if it does happen, I leave community posts every once in a while on the page, just saying what's up if we do end up missing a day. So keep an eye out for that. Also, go follow us. Go follow all of our socials, our personal channels. Do all of that. We both have stores. You can go support us. Patrick sells T-shirts. I sell Pokemon cards.
Yeah, I gotta start doing that again too.
Both of it helps both of us very much. So, I'm still got to do all the fucking Patreon shit so we can do that. But I do have a Patreon set up. I just don't have a way for you to pay us. So I got to do all of that.
Just message me and I'll give you my Venmo.
Right. Well, my Cash App is in my whole social feed and stuff like that.
It's on my
but
link tree.
Yeah. If you want to donate us directly, you can. All of that's down there as well. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. Whether you're new, if you've been here for the last year or two that we've been recording, thank you. Yeah, we'll be back at it next week. It's been fun, guys. It's been real. Peace out, Cubs. Bye.
High five.